Welcome back to the 2025 PGT Mixed Game Series. And boy, oh boy, do we have a special show for you today. It is time for the final table of event number 5. It's a $10,000 buy-in Mori's Mix. And you might be wondering, and rightly so, what the heck is going on here? Well, first and foremost, Daniel Negreanu headlining the show today. My name is Remko Rinkema. Donnie Peters in the booth with me, and a special guest, Kevin Gerhart, mixed game specialist and 4-time WSOP bracelet winner. So, Mori's Mix. It is a rotation of games that we will dive into as we look quickly here at the final table leaderboard. Max Coleman on top. Daniel Negreanu the short stack, but that man in 6th place, Mori Eskandani, the man who created this mix, he will be responsible for some significant changes here on the live stream. 210K up top for the winner, 28,000 guaranteed for the final 7. We've got lots of poker left to be played here, but the big wrinkle is we are not able and willing to show hole cards here until the president of PokerGO, Mori Eskandani, either has been eliminated or wins the tournament, at which point it would be game over, of course, for all of us.
Yep.
Mori Eskandani, Poker Hall of Fame member, creator of Mori's Mix, which is a rotation of games I'll explain in just a second. But, of course, since he is an employee of PokerGO, simply to show that we are very legit about game safety, we are using regular cards, no bet tracking, no chip count tracking, and no cards until Mori has been eliminated. And of course, with the stack that he has, starting with 1.8 million, that could be quite a while. So please, we'll remind you guys whenever we can that this is the case, as we are starting with Badugi.
Oh, nice.
It's Daniel's tournament to lose.
Oh, I had to pay and then try to catch the 4 hearts.
We'll try to let the players do much of the talking. First game is Badugi. So yeah, this is a very sort of strange way.
Daniel, you'll be flattered to know that I texted a few people to tell them to watch the stream, and 2 of them individually texted back that I should watch out for you, that you were a very good player.
Yeah, I got
should
all
be
the
very careful.
I'm in the driver's seat.
That was what one said, watch out for the short stack. I've heard of him.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, Dmitry Urbanovic, Max Coleman in the first hand here playing Badugi. Kevin, at least you've had much practice calling poker streams without hole cards.
That's true. We did it last year with Mori at the final table. He did win one of the horse tournaments. So this will be a little bit more interesting. I have prepared a more longer, in-depth description of Badugi and Badugi strategy and Omaha Hi strategy, but I'm only going to do it if enough people in the chat say that they want me to give them the in-depth descriptions.
So the first game here, Badugi, not even a flop in play, not even any up cards. We're just playing a draw game, which will add even more to the intrigue of no cards poker streaming. But of course, me being a little biased, I have to root for my good friend Mori Eskandani. Then again, Daniel Negreanu is at his first final table of 2025. Off to a very quiet start.
Pitch them very low.
So powerful.
Start sliding the card.
Yeah,
That's actually true.
But dude,
Okay, Johnny Chan.
let's see if I can see him. He doesn't even have to bend. He's just good. I can't see anything.
I just meant he has good eyesight. That's all.
Badugi, in my opinion, one of the more fun poker games. You're trying to make the lowest possible hands, and the suits are very important. It has to be
boy at the table.
rainbow suits in order to make the best hands. A Badugi is when you have one of each suit. And Steve Zolotow, a legend in his own right, is going to come in for the raise here. Position, snowing, raising in position, drawing cards. There's just a lot to this game.
There really is. It's such a game of deception, and instead of there being like a solver to tell you kind of what to do in this game, it's more so looking a guy in the eye and saying, do you have it? Do you not have it? Can I bluff you out of this pot? Is there a way for me to win without getting to showdown to show down that I have the best hand? That's where the real skill in Badugi comes from.
I have the ace deuce. Tight is right.
That's what I first.
You're way more inclined to want to play pots when you are in position. If you have the button and you have a hand like ace deuce or ace
Okay.
three, you're more inclined to call and draw two.
What does Badugi mean? Anybody know? What does it mean? Does it have a
Somebody
meaning?
bad dog.
Bad dog. No, it doesn't mean that.
That's what they said. What do I know? I don't.
Spotted dog?
That's what I've heard.
It-
I've
it
heard
It
it
actually does
spotted
mean
dog.
dog, I think, yeah, in some language.
Oh, it's spotted like you have to have different spots, obviously. Is that what it is?
Maybe they have a dog they call Bedoui or something that has spots. I can't remember. I thought someone said spotted dog.
Yeah,
Badugi,
they told
spotted
me
dog.
bad dog. So I guess dogs with spots are very
Worst hand
untrustworthy.
is 4 kings, right? You have 4 kings in your hand, that's the worst Badugi hand. You can't win.
Yeah, that's true.
Just in case you have 4 kings, throw it away.
No, you can win very easily.
No, if you have 4 kings, I guess.
You just have to have somebody with a three-card,
Big card what?
three-card anything. 4 kings are never going to have 2 of the same suit, and unless you guys play with a very special Badugi deck.
That's what he means. You can't win. You have the worst hand.
Do you know the rules of Badugi? Because it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
Sounds as if you might not, but I think you do.
Pairs are not good. You can't have pairs. They're not good.
4 kings.
Pairs don't help you.
So king, queen, jack, 10 of king, queen, jack,
King, queen would
Crush
be
it.
winning.
king, queen, jack, 10 of different suits would be the worst Badugi.
Max, take 2 if you
Worst
want.
Badugi,
It's okay
yeah,
with me.
that's an
Take
actual.
2.
I was thinking you would.
Check.
Yeah. I've never played 4 kings, so I've never faced that problem.
It's a hard hand to get.
Mori with the pat after facing a check back on the first draw from Max Coleman decides to bet on the second draw. With the pot so small, Max decides he wants to believe that Mori does have a Badugi and relinquishes his holdings.
Yeah, you'll see lots of that. You know, Badugi hands don't go to showdown all that often,
Over it.
especially
I mean,
if
you're
you show
back
strength
to
from the
final table, it
beginning.
wasn't a career
It's hard for
ending
players to continue drawing
mistake
against made
you
hands,
made that night.
unless,
like
of course,
you're
you have a
back.
very strong starting hand.
Now you're going to really look and see.
You see what he's trying to do to you, right, David? He's trying to remind you of it, prime you of your mistake.
He won't do it again. I'll bet that.
I'll never be over it. I mean, how could you be over it?
You got
How
it.
could you be? How could you be over it? You're over it.
I did something last night. It's fucked up.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I gave him 25 extra. I didn't even. I thought he had less than 480, but he had 505. So I
Yeah.
gave you 25 extra.
No, you
Return.
really.
Did you really?
Yeah.
25?
Yeah. He's like, yeah. It's okay. Take it. Yeah, I just put it in because I thought you had less than 480, but then you had a little more, and because obviously I wouldn't call the river.
I wonder if the players enjoyed their day off yesterday. They've been playing really long hours, grinding well into the night. Most of the time these tournaments don't make the final table until around 2:30 a.m. after starting at noon the previous day.
Yeah, new event also kicking off today at the PGT Mixed Game Series.
15K? Is that right?
Negreanu mentioning it here.
High
$15,000
low,
buy-in.
What do you call them?
Dealer's choice.
Change it up.
Nothing changed. What?
I'm saying, what do you call in dealer's choice when you play?
I haven't played in a long time.
But you, depends on the table kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean,
It's fun because it's everything's so dependent upon so many factors.
I'm thinking Deuce-to-Seven, no limit on the button, right? No limit Deuce-to-Seven, you got to call that.
Why the button? 'Cause
You
gotta
play a full orbit
round.
anyway.
Oh, that's right. Full
You play. You don't. Just, yeah, it's not one hand where you get to.
I don't think I'm going to play, but I was thinking.
I just call whatever the
would play
worst player.
What would you call? What would you, I mean, you're calling your
thought
favorite
one-
game.
a
I
couple
guess.
I think I would call the
One guy
high-low
didn't play high-low regular.
split.
I hate it when
regular.
people-
So everyone started
I know, I
doing it.
hate
But guess what he did?
I think
He
called
thought
it
the guy.
himself.
He thought the guy in his right was worse. He goes, "Fuck you, high-low regular."
That game
everyone
shouldn't be.
over
It ruins the tournament.
everyone
Once
over
as soon as
60
somebody
years
plays
old
Yeah,
queens,
it's
should just
like-
call the
it
stud
becomes a
game.
high
It
low
ruins the experience for the worst player.
It was.
and that's
There was.
like the
I actually
opposite thing
thought of
you
a
should
rule
do.
to
But
fix it.
you
So
want
the
to
Russian
call
guy we did
games
that
they've
to
never
one
played.
The rule should be
before.
you can't call the same game.
Maybe
back to back.
five
Yeah.
card.
The only problem with that
draw
is
or something.
You could
like
call, say, Bedusi then Bedaci, and they're almost the same.
I know, but at least it's slightly different.
I mean,
But I think that should be a rule, just to make it like slightly
can't
more
call the
fun
same
for
game
the
twice in
fan.
a row. I think that's fine. You know, I also had Tim had this idea, and I love it. But it's
Raise
a
it.
little bit interesting. The issue is everyone gets it. There's 20 games. You all get 20 stickers, if you will.
Oh, and then you can only call.
You call it once.
Yeah.
So now you're gonna like call all your worst games early, I would imagine.
Yeah. But it's tough to implement.
It's not that hard. I mean, it is a little bit of an issue, but like it would literally
Badugi.
require like these pre-made cards.
That beats 4
And
kings.
then you know
buddy.
you have stickers on them, and or like you know.
You get like the dealer would stamp it or something.
Yeah, or you get a stamp. A stamp works too. You'd be like,
Yeah.
voided that, and then you'd be like, what do you got left? That's what we're playing.
And then when you've called all 20, you get a new.
Yeah, you get a fresh, you just go all in.
Also, I think there's some,
Makes it more of a balanced tournament.
you know, as you get close to the money, there are ICM things that, let's say, there are 3 short stacks. You want to get the big blinds if they're going to hit the short stacks and stuff
Yeah,
like
of
that. You know, so you want to play a game with a big.
But yeah, like the only thing that makes that tournament brutal, and I think discourages people from playing, is the idea that if like people see you're really bad at one game,
What happened
that
to Josh in Bahamas?
I mean,
Everybody called single draw because he didn't know how to play.
I mean, he knew how to play. He
He did not know how to play. He was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
he knew. He just wasn't good.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of goes hand.
He knew how to play.
As soon as he called with the 10-6 and checked
Right,
back,
exactly. But
everyone's like, all right.
But at least he knew how to play. You know.
Well,
It's
yeah,
different
he
from
knows
the
how to
start.
play
It's like the no qualifier. People literally don't know.
Yeah, at least in that game he can play tight and
Right.
still have a chance.
It's always struck me as kind of strange that the 5-card draw high is in there. I don't. It doesn't
that
bother
game.
me, but
I like it too. It's just an old school poker game.
5-card draw high.
I mean, it's real poker. I mean,
It
in
is.
the sense of like,
No, it is. It's just
it
so-
all comes down to does he have it or not.
it's just like only a dealer's choice thing. It seems like.
Right. Yeah.
I
There's
mean,
no drama
We
hunt or
used to
anything
play
like
it.
that.
And
No.
there's none of the stuff that people.
I've never played drama.
Oh my God, drama hunt would be a good one for dealers. Can't it?
Drama hot dudes.
Can you imagine that? Yeah, drama
Gotta
hunt
teach
this
me
would
the
be
fucking
really
rules.
But
good.
just explaining the rules to people would take
Yeah,
so
it's true,
long.
true, true. Yeah,
Don't you think everyone in the 10K dealer's choice knows the rules?
I don't know the rules.
Okay, one person doesn't, and you pick it up quick.
I can learn. It's a split pot game.
Yeah.
That's it. 5-card draw.
Low ball in your hand. Check
yeah.
high on the
Deuce in
Deuce
your
to seven
hand.
in your hand. And
Yeah,
then
it's
you
very
play.
simple. Yeah,
Try to
deuce
make
in
a
your
high
hand
hand
and
of
high Omaha.
That sounds like a really stupid game.
It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun what you start with.
So you starting with like deuce 3, 4, 5 kind of hand,
Well,
or like
you don't want to draw.
More you
if
want.
you can.
More you want.
you want to have like double suited,
You
right?
want pat. You don't want to be
You wanna
drawing,
have
like
pat nine.
double suited.
Okay, but then if you have
Double
like
suited
you know, so-
jack.
Okay, but being double suited is big.
Or like, I mean, obviously a 10
Double
is a
suited is
monster
nice,
always,
yeah.
but
If you
like
have-
actually 2, 3, 4, 7 Bedoui is kind of dog shit.
Yeah, because you're not going to win the
I mean, you can.
Oh, and
Wanna-
you can you
wanna-
get to draw though?
You get one draw after the flop, but I mean, if you pair,
have
you know,
6,
you
7,
pair,
8.
you can't really win the high.
Deuce
or
6,
the low.
7, 8, 10.
Huh?
Deuce 6, 7, 8, 10.
Yes.
That's a good hand.
That's the joint.
Why?
because you're going to have.
You have a good
you're gonna
Omaha
have-
hand and a good low.
You'll be surprised how many high hands you like with that hand.
And you have a 10 so you have a 10 for the low.
Yeah,
and
10
you
for
like
the
still
low.
rough.
Rough that out.
The rough 10s are really good for the high because they're like, you know, they're the middle cards.
So
like
queens
run
aren't that good.
Those can kind of.
Sometimes heads up, yeah.
I mean, we've been playing at pot limit.
Yeah.
You know what I like to do with the queen? Just repot, get it in, and if a queen comes, maybe play these. Or I had like, what did I have? Deuce 4, 6, 9 double with an ace the other day. 2 loose players in there. I repot it, get the cap in, and it comes to ace, ace, 9. And I padded. I was first, and so like the first. Len ends up drawing 5 because he had like a jack 10, like a pad jack 10. So he throws away the low, and the other guy's got some low draw.
How many hands did you draw before? We used to draw for the hand.
4 hands and 2 to 4.
I mean, yeah, that's,
It was some run good. It was
yeah, it's just a really lucky flop.
very lucky flop, but it's it's
Where's that the
It is an
players?
interesting
just
game.
how
Do the
I've been
talking
running.
here
How you
with the
run
lack
it.
of card graphics. It's at least nice for them to entertain us a little bit
do you-
here.
how have you been?
If you're just
How
tuning
about
in.
you?
I'm sorry.
I
Bit
played
of an
the
odd
yellow.
one today.
bad.
Mori Eskandani,
Third.
PokerGO president,
And
at the
like I
final
played
table,
yellow,
so
and then obviously
we're
it's
not
okay.
showing hole cards or even using.
Dealers
We're not
choosing
even
to have
using
it back-to-back
RFID
games.
cards
They shouldn't allow that.
until he
That's
is no
not-
longer
like
That's
you're
kinda
part of
starting to
this
pick on
game. So
Josh, yeah.
it's a bit of a strange
doesn't
one
know?
here to kick
That's
off
what I was saying, suggesting.
Negreanu's first final table of
I
2025.
always have my good 3.
Still playing
Getting
Badugi
the
here on
fourth one
Mori's
is
mix,
always a
which, by the way,
struggle for me.
is a rotation of games that involves no split pot games. So should perhaps see some early blood here.
Just hold 'em of the limit variety.
Play any 2 cards, anytime.
The limit.
That's nice.
You
Limit
can't
hold 'em
really
right now.
move in and make a big bluff with your any two card.
And if you raise, I'll show you one of my cards. Sam Malchione, Stardust. Every time you raise, he'd show one of his cards. And a couple of pros in town, a couple of pros in the game objected because he was running solos.
Of course.
They had him stop.
Brilliant.
So he would say, I'll tell you one of my cards. You raise, he'd go, Queen of Clubs. Good old days.
You can't show that. I'm getting too flustered in hands.
They used to have a game at the Stardust, I think. It was a Raz game, and it was very crooked. And every New Yorker who came out here and played it would say, I had the second nuts with one card to come, and we put in 8 bets, and I lost the hand. So finally, one of the New Yorkers is out there. He gets the second nuts. The guy bets into him, and he says, look, I have you dead right now. You have 1 out. Do you want to chop the pot?
Let's
and
chop
the guy
it.
says no.
Right. Just chop it. You have 1 out.
All right, so Negreanu, who's the short stack at the table,
No, I have a good
involved
feeling
here
about
in a
this.
hand of limit hold'em. Very important for Daniel to win this
I
one
mean,
here
it was
because,
so weird.
as you can
hear the
see,
exact same story. You know, and then
majority of
this
his
old
chips
guy
already in the
raised
middle
me. He
here.
looked like he was drunk, didn't know what he was doing.
Well, you never checked here. Were you gonna
Coleman
check maybe?
calling for 80,000, the small bet. Negreanu has 305,000
Max
left in
has
front of him.
Rest assured, Max has
The bet on the turn will be
Everyone spells
160.
Max with 2 X's.
And here comes 160. That's half of
I think
Negreanu's
this
chips
was
here.
genius, my lead. I honestly do. It's like I never do that, but I'm like, oh, you know what? Boom! In the moment, I realized lead is the play. Because normally it's a check here on Jack 9 Deuce. But I'm like, no. Based on the stack size and the ICM situation, leading the 80 is better. Because now he has shit. He has nothing anyway. So what's the fucking point of like? Good luck, bro. Sick fucking play I just made. It's unbelievable. I'm so impressed with myself right
pushed
now.
him right in.
It's amazing.
All right, so Negreanu down to his final bet here, going to the river versus Max Coleman. I believe he has 155 left, maybe exactly 160,
145.
but he's going to bet.
All in.
155 announced, so Negreanu all in for his tournament life. Coleman, I guess, has a real decision.
I just want to see the cards. I want to
Right.
know what Negreanu called out of the big blind with and then led the flop, led the turn, and jammed the river. I'd suspect that Daniel's more weighted towards value in this spot than something like Queen 10 of diamonds for a huge draw on the flop. Coleman might have a hand like King
You think
9
about
for second
King
pair.
High, bro.
Exactly what I have.
People.
Oh, look at this.
Is that genius or what? How good was? How smart was that? Brilliant. Are you impressed?
Full double.
Yeah.
All right, full double up
You're
for
gonna do check
Negreanu.
raise?
What?
You're going to check raise?
Win.
No, you're saying that instead of reading, you were going to check raise?
Well,
or what?
mostly check raise, check call, but not lead. That's not the right play.
All right, so double up for Negreanu, off to a good start in limit hold'em here. I believe he had just a pair, and Coleman called him now with King
boy.
High.
Daniel's heating up.
I'm small blind. Yeah.
Wasn't this your original game?
I think the
Daniel?
board ran out.
Limit
Jack
hold'em,
9
you're up
deuce,
playing, yeah.
diamond.
I mean, who was it
4,
back in the
6.
late 90s?
And every straight draw,
Like I
every
would play
flush
limit
draw
hold'em
missed.
5 days a week, noon to 8.
Yep.
And we had little no limit tournaments, $20 events in Toronto. I'd play with Eastside, Steinberg. $20 tournaments at night. That was like the fun part. So the limit hold'em was the work,
Yeah.
and then the tournaments was the fun.
Yeah, because I sort of remember you and Jennifer. And
Oh yeah,
people
I used to
playing
watch Maury, Lenny, and Mickey play 8160 going, I want in there. I didn't have the money.
Who's Mickey? Apple?
Limit hold'em.
Mickey Coleman, right?
Yeah.
Is he still around?
He's still around.
Is he still playing?
He still plays.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's he playing? Still limit hold'em, or did he
Limit hold'em.
graduate?
Limit hold'em. 6120, I think they were playing.
6120. Where? Bellagio? What a weird number.
He said he shot his age playing golf.
Oh no way.
That was pretty good.
Someone was telling me they had a friend. He's in his 90s. He's finished. He just died. He's 96, and he said he shot his age every round. He was a 6 handicap, and he was like 94.
That's got to be so cool.
Yeah, every day shoot your age.
Check.
I know. I'm messing. I'm working on it. I got a whole bunch.
This will be, we're going to new level now. Yep. Level up.
Did Isai ever play big cash games or big tournaments?
He's played now since. Like he played the Triton.
You're saying way back he.
No, back then he was.
Seat open.
No, he was.
Want a seat?
He was like once he started working.
You win your own tournament.
Pull a chair up.
But we used to play 10-20.
Chino
And it
sighting.
wasn't
Let everyone
Shocker.
He played the World
He
Series.
was already
I'm
super
rooting for
wealthy.
this man to
No,
win
he
his
started
money
out-
in poker.
He inaugural.
Made it with,
He made it with poker.
yeah.
It's not
He
the
was
inaugural.
just-
Last
He
year.
had
Mori
some
Eskandani, the Hall of Famer.
He was an IBM guy.
We're so stoked
No,
to
it was
have him at
horse.
the final table of his
Oh,
own
This is
tournament.
the first year?
Yeah, this is the first year
Oh, I
of
didn't
horse.
realize. I thought
Last
they
year was
had it
horse.
last year and he won it.
It was horse.
He wasn't a professional player.
Straight horse.
Sure. He was.
I picked this one to be the only event I play.
Yeah, no, he loved the game.
Clearly.
Talking about like, if you think Hall of Fame in the builders category, I mean, with all due respect, like that guy saved so many bankrolls.
I'd love to
You know what I
meet
mean
him.
with that decision?
Lines are up.
I'd love to meet him and say thank you.
He's kind of an important guy.
He is. He's a huge savior.
All right, so we're playing 100K, 200K.
He's a savior.
No cards or chip counts, since we are not tracking any bets.
I'm going to show my whole cards, just to be fair.
And the same.
Are you in? I forget. Are you in the whole thing?
I am.
Yeah, of course you are. When did you get in?
When did I get
2019?
it?
2018, 2019?
We were still at Rio, so 4 years ago or something like that, 4 or 5 years ago.
Do they still do the induction at the old horseshoe downtown?
No. You mean have like the big ceremony? No, I haven't done that in a while. This year was Patrick, right?
This year with Patrick.
When they first started the Poker Hall of Fame, they called it the Gamblers Hall of Fame, and
2 bets.
they had like Wild Bill Hickok and people like that in it. And I suggested to Jack Binion that he add in Pete Rose because he was never going to be allowed into the other Hall of Fame.
Perfect induction. Perfect candidate.
Certainly was a famous gambler.
They should have put him in the Baseball Hall of Fame while he was still with us. That was a shame.
Steve Z's got to win a couple more tournaments. You're not in, right?
I'm never going to.
You got to win a couple more tournaments, and then they'll be like, "Oh, yep."
I spent 15 years on backgammon and 15 years on sports, so I never really, poker
Yeah.
was never a big issue for me.
You're in the Backgammon Hall of Fame?
I don't think there is such a thing. Really?
I'm sure there is. Raise.
2 bets.
Should be.
10 seconds.
Dmitri. What? What do you want? Why are you looking at my chips? It's limit. You can't move in. You looking at my cards? Very good cards.
10 seconds.
No
He
more.
gave you the combination, call and lead into him.
Yeah.
Call and lead.
Well, at least Negreanu is having a good time so far.
Good. I feel like it's been a while since we've had him.
Yeah, definitely.
What's
I would have bet the
Oh,
flop.
100%. Well,
Queen
with the flop
King
for
Queen
sure.
liked its
So-
chances.
It would have went in either way. Right? You bet I check raise, bet turn.
You had a gut shot on 2 overs and a gut shot?
The gut shot.
These guys show up early to play Chinese.
Since it is limit games, at least the chip
I mean, it
counts
starts at noon, right?
hardly matter. As long as you have enough chips to play the full hand,
Max
that's
is
all that
busting
matters.
People.
We are playing 100K, 200K. So the limits are quite significant. The largest stacks hovering in the 2 million range. That would be 10 bets. I think limit hold'em with no cards shown might be the single most boring game to show. At least with stud games or with draw games, there's some kind of action.
Yeah, there's just not very much information that is
Okay, what
conveyed
time
with
everybody woke up
limit
then?
hold'em
Be
without
honest.
whole cards.
What time did you wake up?
Very early.
I know the exact.
Very early?
Yeah, like,
Like-
6 o'clock or something.
Okay. Dimitri.
10:45.
10:45. He knows it exact by minutes.
I do too.
Dimitri looks like he's still
9:45.
asleep.
9:32.
9:30. How do you know it by minutes?
Because I looked at my watch
Oh,
as soon
okay.
as I woke up.
7:15.
7:15. Okay.
That's a, you know.
Maury, can I guess yours?
Maury, I did
Yeah.
have the clock.
4:45.
No.
Dang,
I actually woke up at 5:50. 10 minutes to 6.
that's not too bad.
I had the clock set for 10:10 because I figured that would be a lucky number, but I woke up about 6. I don't know.
Why do you wake up so early? Just normal?
It's just normal.
Yeah. As you get older, you start getting earlier.
You know, I got a lot of stuff in New York.
10
Like,
seconds.
Call.
get ready for some of the conference calls that comes up early.
Here's a look at the flop. Queen 9-5. Rainbow.
Bet.
Coleman leading into Zolotow.
Well, Zolotow opened the cutoff. Coleman 3-bet out of the small blind, which incentivized Negreanu to fold behind.
Call.
So now 100K bet and a call. 6 of clubs on the turn. Since the stacks are all very similar, there's no real short stacks. I can only imagine that the play from Coleman from this moment is pretty straightforward, meaning a tight range, no real reason to apply pressure with speculative hands.
Bet.
I would also suspect Steve Z to be the tightest player at the table when it comes to pre-flop ranges. I mean, he's been around the game a long time, so maybe he's developed an image of being an old guy and actually goes a little crazy sometimes. But yeah, it seems pretty straightforward.
Guys, I'm gonna get rid of the 5K.
Even the Razz.
Get rid of the 5.
Don't we need them for Annie's or something?
You think if we need him for Annie's, he would take them off?
Well, a few of them maybe.
You want to buy mine?
Daniel's a little
One
quippy
step.
this morning.
I like it though. I like it. Well, that's what I'm hoping for. More table talk and lots of chatter. And if you're bored not having hole cards, get yourself some hole cards on playpokergo.com. Available on web, iOS, and Android. Come play with us as well. Like Donnie and I play on there all the time. So yeah, available for free. Play on playpokergo.com. Right now, hop in a game. Tournaments, cash,
I'd like
sit
to
and
go
goes,
back and look at
all
what
of it's
happened
available.
to me after the hand.
Tell you later.
You think dealer's choice is better?
Yeah, you can't.
20
You won't be able to go back and look. You'll have to
Like it
trust
better?
Max.
I'm just thinking in terms of like, what do you think
He's,
draws the
he's
numbers?
trustworthy. I think.
Not like your personal
might not.
preference, but
Yeah, like in the Bahamas, I think it backfired.
yeah, it was a little bit of we didn't correctly promoted.
Right.
We didn't explain to people.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't know, and then
There
we
were only
played
5 games that you could pick from?
8.
8.
Yeah, but we started out the first hour. It was all the games because somehow there was a mix-up.
I think realistically 8 attracts more people, but I think 20 is like
I think 20 is
way
more fun.
more fun and pure
Yeah.
version of it.
And even if it costs you a few entries, so what?
I agree. It's a really, really fun.
I like it. I mean, I honestly kind of like sometimes when they call games I don't really like.
Yeah, exactly.
I enjoy it.
I probably don't play them.
Because I would never call them, but I kind of like playing them. Even though they're...
I want to slow it down. I mean, you can just some games that just slow the heck out of the play. That's
Bedoui, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but
Yeah.
it's just part of it.
I mean, if you think, you know, if you're good, like if you're chatty, you I guess is very good at it. Makes sense.
He was 4 years ago. Yeah. I mean, I think the theory behind the tournament is like find the best cash player, right? And so
Yeah.
if that's the
Play all the games.
yeah, if that's the actual theory, then I think you should have all the games.
525, 100 for Raz.
I just love the format more than any tournament ever because it's like, again, I'm always thinking about what game to call.
I know it's so fun.
Because your stack size, you're looking at the the bubble. Like
You're thinking about what game someone's like bad at, good
Like
at,
last year,
like-
Ben Lamb picked the right game. I was like, he picked Omaha High Limit. I'm like, oh, that's exactly what he should call. Like on the bubble with your short stacks, because they have to fold.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's
we
like-
were actually talking about that yesterday. It's a great game to call on the
Yeah,
bubble of a tournament.
Because what
like,
you, I
no
think
one
what
can
you,
play.
What you want to do is you want to force people to make the most theoretically incorrect plays
Right.
because of ICM. And how do you fold your big blind in
Right, exactly.
Omaha High? But you have to,
Yep.
because you can't get involved.
Yeah, it's just a game where you have the most equity as the raiser.
And yeah, and right, as you're the raiser, you can't get raised off a hand.
Yeah.
You're like, whatever, you still have 35, 40%.
Even with the worst of it.
Yeah.
Right.
You just open every pot.
Yep. Exactly.
King, 6 off, maybe?
I think PLO works for it too. More or less, but
Complete.
I think the difference is you can just shift free.
yeah.
And punish you a little more, whereas in limit.
10 seconds.
Oh my God, I got queens. You said high, it was bye-bye me.
I would be so tempted to raise this. I'm sick. These rolled up.
I would have
did
100% raised that. I can't take it if I get it in Razz. I raised all my low trips.
It's also
At least you know they don't pair when they catch the other one.
Yeah, when they catch the other one, you just
You're like, you got information. You're like, yeah, I think that one hit you. You could be like real.
Great at it.
You could be like a genius.
Exactly.
Like, bro, I'm sure you didn't.
freak people out.
Yeah.
Although they usually catch on to it.
One thing
Yeah.
you can't
That you have a pair of trips.
They
One
know
thing you
why.
can't teach, I think. Or you can't teach me. One thing you could never teach me is be able to even hold my own for
Someone's
30
got
minutes.
the noon alarm.
No, I'm gonna kill my phone. I made a
played props
mistake.
with Eric for
Letting it ring.
3 hours once.
Oh.
Slept flush in my hand or playing the simplest thing ever. I'm like, all right, I gotta just.
they're hard ones to sleep to.
He said you can't. That you can't sleep, and I immediately
just
threw
stay
it
in this
away. I
view.
was like, I have a flush. And he's like, well, I can't just trust
Yeah,
you.
the Raz and the
that's
stud game are definitely the most interesting. Mori bringing it in with a
Can't even reach it.
10, I think.
Yeah, 10 of spades for him.
Call.
Banovich comes along with the 8 of diamonds. Just making the call.
Call.
Negreanu was there,
Right.
and so is
Yes,
Gordinsky.
That's good.
No, he completed.
Oh, you completed. Okay, there we go.
How good
He
are
did
you?
the motion.
I saw him toss 1 chip, so I,
Oh my God, how good are you? That
I
just
had a
struck
hand.
me. You must
Most
really.
people
Are you
might,
like
a lot of people would still continue with it,
like
but I chose not to.
Hennigan, Gordon?
No, they do the complicated ones.
Yeah, take my phone.
so Gordinsky applying the pressure. Banovich comes along, catches a 10. Gordinsky now with the deuce 9 showing. That can't be going in the right direction.
Call. Ten of diamonds.
Both players catch an ace. Even though both players catching an ace makes it less likely that either one has one in the hole, but if anyone would, it's probably Gordo, since Banovich limped in, or just called the bring in with this 8 showing.
Yeah, Urbanovich was just playing in flow on 3rd Street. He could definitely have an ace in his hand and not want to raise. The 3 cards behind him were all lower than his card, so he didn't really want to play for more on 3rd Street. With his antics here, it does kind of look like he paired, unless he wants to put in the raise.
Oh boy, what have I done?
Does want to put in the raise. It is pretty difficult in Raz to get the check raise in. I think Gordo with his aggression on 3rd Street is drawing very smooth. Urbanovic ahead right now, allegedly with his made 8s, and Gordo probably drawing to something much better. Quite an aggressive bet from Urbanovic. If he did make his 8, that means he's drawing to something better than an 8 on 7th Street. Be interesting to see if Gordo finds what he's looking for and raises him up here, or finds the call, maybe
You know the stupidest.
thinking Urbanovic is capable of bluffing.
Maybe this one second, or it's also on the list, but distant second.
2 bets.
Dealer's choice here, 2 years ago or a year ago.
Really interesting spot with Urbanovic being so short after putting most of his stack into the middle.
2 tables, like one is 5-handed, one is 4-handed, something like that. And I lost a huge pot right before the hand before it was my turn to pick the game. I was gonna pick.
Wow, 6 announced by Gordinsky. Absolute monster hand.
I was gonna pick.
And Urbanovic down to crumbs here
So I lost a huge pot. That was left
after a huge Raz hand that got out of control.
I was like, oh, okay, well, pick single draw so that I can move in and maybe pick up the blinds. What I didn't realize is
Yeah, the pot was extra inflated by the 2
Oh, yeah,
raises
he played the pitch.
on different
Yeah,
streets.
But then I get bailed out. I get the bailout package because so I pick it.
Now, why would Daniel
realized 30
limp
seconds
and
later.
then fold?
Somehow this.
I was
hand
going to
was-
make a comment about that, but
Yeah, I
then
know. But
the
this
table
hand I
started
realized
talking.
30 seconds later as he's feeling like.
Daniel knows that he only has to call 25,000
This
chips
is like
to win the 400,000 that's already in
very
the
first
middle.
hand Manette opens.
So you're getting
first,
a ridiculous
folds around a big
price.
blind. I had like
And
a
if your
wheel
board
draw,
runs out
one
better
card
than
wheel
your
draw, I
opponent's
moved in.
board,
Probably also bad.
you can
but I
just
moved
force
in,
them off of
he
the pot.
called, and I made it and doubled up and.
How did he handle the beat?
He was
like this dumb idiot
he
called
was
game that he
astonishingly angry about it.
No.
And then he told me that I was the dumbest player that he'd ever played with.
To call the game? or the jam. Just
But he didn't say anything for about 20 minutes. And then
Eventually the fly rate slipped out.
I said, you know, that was probably a mistake to call this game. Funk, you're the fucking stupidest fucking player I've ever played with all my life. Seething for 20 minutes. But
Who's this?
Angry.
Bailout package. But that's a good question. I thought about what game do I need for my stack, but not where the fucking blinds.
Yeah, that's the other
Right? I mean, there's
Here
so
goes
much.
Urbanovic
I
in
realized I had
Raz.
never been deep in a dealer's choice before.
Okay.
I always just busted.
Well,
He gave me the same speech in No
Riz.
Limit in WBT years ago, where he 3-bet me
All
from
right,
small. I called with
225.
ace, came 8-4.
Urbanovic
Nicely
all in
ahead.
versus
He ripped
Zolotow
the
in
flop.
Raz.
For a second,
Called
I
with
hope.
upset, he
It's
had
like
ace
10-7
and he gave
deuce
me the whole-
versus 7
What
6
are you
4.
trying to fucking hit an 8? What the fuck are you gonna, you know, like he's
What are you gonna do if a
This
jack
guy's just trying to hit an 8 for all this money. He's trying to hit an 8. Yeah.
Yo, or 4-4 deuce.
Or like I have heaps, you don't. Like if it doesn't come ace king queen, I just
All right, first all in showdown. Look at this view. Zolotow improving right away. Still some ways to stay alive here for Urbanovic. Pair for Urbanovic, not looking too good for him now. 7th card face down. Jack and an
Unforced
8.
errors, though. That's on
8-7 for Urbanovic.
double
Or,
flop.
Oh,
10
10-8.
9
10-8.
versus 10 8.
10-8 beats 10-9, I think.
oh wow, so Urbanovic does stay alive. Needed that 8 on 7th Street.
He's still really short, still in the danger zone. Will be all in if he decides to commit to any of the next couple of hands. I like Daniel's stack went from 100 blue chips,
I have another copy
and now he
with a
has
shot of espresso.
5 orange
Can I get a
chips.
chamomile with honey?
Looks a lot
cup,
less
please.
menacing this way.
Isn't that you that brought your own honey? Whose honey is that?
That's mine.
Where?
You brought your own honey? You brought a whole bottle of honey.
Help yourself. It's,
No,
way,
I'm good.
it's way better than the whatever they have.
Oh, so you use that.
Oh, really?
I don't know. There's a weird flavor in those little packets to me. Interesting. I don't know. I think COVID messed me up.
Oh, your taste and your smell.
Yeah, I think so.
Still on Raz. Funkhouser
Yeah, I honestly.
with the king brings it in. Bunch of quick folds here. Of course, everyone's still looking at Urbanovic on his short stack.
Being a honey connoisseur. Aged, you know.
My wife's like that.
She's a,
You got like special honey at home.
a honey connoisseur.
10 seconds.
Back-to-back, much-needed pots for Urbanovic. Still think the best hand I've ever seen played in poker was with you two in the 50K a couple years ago, with Urbanovic drawing 1 in position in triple draw. His opponent draws 3, immediately makes a wheel, and Urbanovic decides to put it in the 4-bet on the second draw with a pair of deuces, pats behind, and then gets shown the bad news after it goes check, bet, raise, and he has to fold the vast majority of his stack with a bluff that went wrong in the 50K.
I mean,
sick.
Urbanovic will forever be known as one of the most aggressive players that I've ever covered, but he came so hot onto the scene probably about 10 years ago now, and ever since then, I think he had 2 strong years. It's sort of been a lot more quiet, but he has really stuck around in the mixed games, and Hold'em not necessarily.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like my resume too. You know, the first time I was drafted for the 25K, I went for 30-something, and then the next year it was like 17, and then the next year after that it was 1, right? So
Right.
sometimes you just have the lucky years, and you know, you might be the new thing on the block, and then it just kind of fades out unless you're Jeremy Osmus.
Is that a time extension?
All right, so Zolotow defending here
Yeah.
against Urbanovic.
Also, I just don't think it matters.
Yeah. Oh, well, he burned one of his 35 time chips.
Check.
Oh boy.
I made this myself
I believe.
10 of diamonds.
this morning.
Nicely
Huh?
done. Look at that.
It's a nice looking sandwich.
Yeah.
I would
get
assume
my
that
own
since
wrap thing.
Urbanovic is so
Yeah, I was
aggressive
actually
and
gonna
known to
say.
be
I bought 'em,
aggressive,
I
that
just-
there's
you
a
know.
chance that he paired his 10
Check.
and doesn't want to put any chips into this spot as a bluff.
No.
Yeah,
No, it's like a fake
that makes
salon.
sense. Doesn't really expect Steve to fold
You
too
order
often
online.
unless his board runs out really bad.
They're good for when you pack.
Mixed games are great because, unlike in No Limit Hold'em, people will give you so much more information based on betting patterns, based on checking boards that they should be betting. They'll let you know their exact hand strength. And when Urbanovic checked earlier on, it was with the intention of check raising Gordo, which is not a play normally seen in Raz.
Still on Raz here. Looks like Funkhouser back in the bring-in again, and Urbanovic picks up an ace, which many players will look at because he's going to look to take somewhat decent hands.
There's a lot of really scary
showdown.
up cards.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone has a wheel card except for Funk and Gordo. It does fold around to Max in the steal position. He's going to raise 100% in this spot with any 3 cards.
Big stuff around. Oh my gosh. Holding the deck.
Yeah, we've seen Funk have aces, rolled up deuces, kings. This would be his stud high round for sure. Sometimes the deck does not cooperate.
Yep.
It is amazing how these wraps, people see them and they're like, where did you get them? I was like, you know, and I
Yeah,
get what,
no, it
because it's like,
changes the aesthetic.
nobody has those at home.
That's right.
Right.
Like, where do you get them?
It really does change the aesthetic of the food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Queen of diamonds.
Urbanovic now to bring in still the shortest stack.
Complete.
Complete. Two bets.
Here we go.
Yeah, we're already seeing a little bit
Here
of a
we
battle.
go.
Thank you.
I think Coleman still has the chip lead. Maybe Gordo is close now.
Well, we'll see after this hand. We'll recalibrate things.
5 of diamonds.
5-4, 6-4, so things are heating up here pretty nicely. Funkhouser are going to continue driving this action.
10 of clubs. Jack.
With the way the action has gone, I would suspect Funkhouser to be in the lead by quite a wide margin here. He is
Yeah.
representing a hand like ace deuce, deuce three in the hole to go up with his 6, while Coleman can have a lot of 7s and 8s in the hole.
There are 4s in you. Queen of hearts. Check.
Yeah, Funkhouser does have a 10-6 against, say, a 10-7 or 10-8 from Coleman. He's about 75–80% at this point, depending on their exact hole cards. We can see neither player has really paired too much or at all with the way the action has gone. So let's see who can get lucky on 7th Street.
Check.
Coleman checking once again, continuing with the flow of this hand.
It's really good news for Funk. If Coleman made, say, an 8 or a 7, he'd be more inclined to bet himself.
Bet.
Funkhouser bets once again. Coleman must not have made his hand because into the muck it goes, and that's a nice pickup there for Funkhouser. And going back to what you were mentioning on 3rd,
Game.
Gordo's probably the chip leader now. That
Yeah.
that Coleman lost that hand, lost a chunk of chips
Here we
there.
go. Let's go.
There we go. Switching up the game. Deuce-to-Seven triple draw is next up.
Seatbelt, Dom.
Okay, so there are 2 games in this mix that I feel play much bigger than the other ones. Do you have any guesses?
Well, this game does more
Um,
damage.
Yeah, this is the real.
That is.
Deuce-7
People-
triple
you-
draw and
Omaha, you
Badugi.
can fold and flop. People here.
2-7 triple draw, not Badugi. I think
You're
Badugi
in.
plays
You're
a
in.
little too tight. Your ranges have to be so narrow, which kind of gives away what the other one is. The other one would be Omaha Hi.
Got it.
The-
Oh yeah, Omaha High. Sorry.
The equities run
doesn't
so
seem like the
close,
chip leader game
and unlike in
all
Piolo, you're just
Or it didn't seem like
incentivized at all times if you have at least 10–20%
Omaha. It
equity
is
in the
though.
hand,
Omaha
even
High?
That's what
multi-way,
Ben Lamb called,
to
right?
continue to the
That's-
river.
It really is the game.
I think generally, like my thought process is, what game can I punish
Yes.
people in ICM situations the most where, number 1, they have to fold more, and number 2, even when you play, you're not so bad off.
Exactly. You can
Yeah,
still
it
get
really is the best game. Weirdly,
It's
very
it's weirdly.
very unintuitively.
Yes. Glad to hear you say it, Mike.
A couple of these tournaments, we've seen massive 3-way collisions in Deuce-to-Seven triple draw, which led to Adam Friedman winning his tournament and Chino Reem winning his tournament, all just taking down one giant 3-way Deuce-to-Seven triple draw pot. So that's why I expect there to be more action, more multi-way. People are incentivized to bet on every street.
Funkhouser raised here. Negreanu called. Both drew 2. Now it looks like Funkhouser's drawing 1. Negreanu is drawing 2. So Funkhouser did improve a little bit here.
Bet.
Going to continue to bet up against the 2 draw of Daniel. Daniel's got enough that he's coming along.
Yeah, this is the flow we've seen over and over, time and time again, of calling all the way down to the end, see if you make your hand, and then playing the river as the big deciding factor of your hand.
Pat from Funkhouser. Daniel draws 1, and he's squeezing it here.
Check.
I like to squeeze.
Checks back.
Probably
Funkhouser made a jack and patted it.
just saw Daniel sweat a no-sider, which turned out to be an ace. And Daniel talking about Funk having a deuce in his hand, so Daniel knows that if you sweat a no-sider with a deuce in your hand, you are only 1/3 of the chance to get there if you need a 3. If Daniel had a deuce and a 3, he was just drawing dead from sweating the no across.
No ante.
Sorry.
Doesn't need it.
Daniel's come very far from his, you know, you don't want to be all loosey-goosey eating a sandwich at the table.
Well, Daniel needs to
Interesting play like
turn his attention
straight
away
pot
from that
limit,
sandwich and to his
deuce,
chip stack. Start
double
working on
draw,
that a little bit because
or triple
taking a
draw.
hit there, not good
over
for
move.
his outlook here.
That would be-
Yeah, he and Urbanovic are very much in the danger zone at this point.
It's pretty dull.
Looks
game,
like
though. Is it
Gordinsky's
no?
got about
You think
4
it's no?
million,
It's too
maybe
slow.
slightly
Big pot.
less,
No,
so
it's just
should
like
be
slow
clear
going
into the
and then
chip
it's
lead.
massive.
Funkhouser looks like he's on 3 million, maybe slightly above. About 2.5 there for Coleman. Daniel's going to get involved here. Action folds to him in the small blind. He comes with a raise. Gordinsky calls. Daniel is pretty short there. Looks like he's got about 350 behind, maybe 300. So
It is kind of interesting that Daniel and Gordo are right next to each other, and Daniel just decides to pick up his cards to fan them to himself. I mean, if Gordo just takes a glance over, I think he could probably see
even accidentally,
everything.
you know.
Look, I mean, it's... Yeah, even just accidentally. He doesn't even have to do it maliciously.
Oh, you thought I was going to miss all 3 times? Pushing.
All right, 2 and 2 here.
I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
I think Daniel can survive if he calls this. Maybe he has 25 or 50,000 chips left.
Check, check here. 1 for Daniel.
That's good.
Still 2 for Gordinsky, so that would favor Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel has 25,000 left. Is incentivized to bet here, drawing 1 against a draw 2.
Here, let me put it on silent.
9-6.
Daniel makes a 9-6 and gets paid here on the end, and that's going to do it for Daniel.
Yeah.
Emergency.
The other one I had a wheel dragon.
Pretty much a double up there, right? He only had the 25K back when he
All right,
bet
this
the
guy's
end,
snowing
so
me.
Yeah.
nice little pickup there for
had it.
D-Negs.
Threw away some piece of cards.
Oh, you had
Still 7 left. Everyone guaranteed $28,000, $210,000 up top for the winner in this one. As a reminder, we are currently not showing hole cards due to that man right there, Mori Eskandani, at the final table. As long as Mori's in, unfortunately, we're not going to show hole cards. But if
So
Mori
like when you're at the
busts,
final table, you give like the card graphic people like a break. They're root for you, right? They don't have to do anything. Like go more.
Mori only plays maybe
Yeah, they're
3
sitting there
tournaments a year
watching.
that we stream, if that.
Don't go
Yeah.
back.
Maybe 1 or 2 at the
Heat up on the
WSOP,
Yeah,
table.
relax and eat some
1
Cheetos.
here at the PGT Mixed Games series. So
Everyone in the control room always roots for the one that has the most chips.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah,
ever
yeah.
roots for the underdog.
Yeah, you never want the all-in guy to win.
Picked up on that a few times.
And Maury's family is here in the
Don't give any of it away.
viewing
You
break
can hear
room.
them.
yes, they are. Wife Kathy, his daughter Sarah.
Yeah, oh, well, that's a double up.
You got heads up, 8-1 chip lead, double. No. And it gets to even. No.
Like, wow, this is really taking
See,
a long
that
time
to
for
me
the
tells
short
me
stacks to
that-
get
that-
involved.
Those people rooting aren't poker players.
I
Because,
agree.
in my opinion, you should always root for the best hand. Because you don't want the karma to come back and bite you at any time. So when I'm playing, you know, there'll be aces versus kings. It doesn't matter if the aces are the short stack and we're on the bubble. No, I'm rooting for the best hand. Best hand to hold up. Because that's how I would want it
I
to
like
happen
it.
when my money goes in.
Right.
Right? Not that I always have the best hand, but you know, you don't want karma to come back and bite you.
Got one. Yeah. Oh.
Mori's still in control of the spot. He did 3-bet pre against Steve's open.
Check.
10 seconds.
Check.
It was Pat 1, Pat 1. I expect Mori to win this hand after it goes check, check.
Is that an 8?
We'll pull it
like
out
an
a bit. Yeah.
I broke an 8-7 on the first draw. I had a 1
8 7
draw
6
to an
5
8-7.
deuce for Mori Eskandani there.
Better 8-7.
Wow, that's, yeah.
You can hear Zolotow saying that he broke an 8-7. Mori hasn't picked up chips, I feel like, in a little while, but does get that one. Looks like he's got, what, 1, 2,
Switch from an 8-7 draw.
Probably.
Hard graphics from you guys going, yeah!
2.6 million,
At least 10
2.7
more
million, something like that. Thank God I can still count chips. That's really all that matters in this world. I've always felt there should be a, you know how they have like those bartender Olympics?
Okay.
Do like one of those, but for poker. Like, can you count chips? How fast can you stack chips? Like, just splash out a pile of like 4 different colors. You have to stack them all up in the colors.
I think they did that one year, right? It was like
Yeah, it should be every year. The bartender thing is like every single year. Like, who can make the fastest drink? Who can spin the bottles? Who can do this? Who can do that? Like, you know.
Well, you come from the right background, that's for sure.
You could do it for, it would be for dealers, because then you could do like, you know, how fast can you set the deck?
Right.
Right? Like when on break when they set the deck. Like, you know, how's your pitch? Can you pitch it into certain squares? Like, can you get it right in there? Like, you know, how smooth can you spread out a flop if there's a flop? All that sort of stuff.
That'd be pretty cool.
What's your chip push like? You know, like roulette dealers, it's nice and smooth. Poker dealers, sometimes there's some fumbling in there.
Oh, you got to talk to that man right there. He can make it all happen.
All right, back to the action here. Dmitry Urbanovic looking like he could be all in again. We got 1 for Dmitry, 2 for Mori.
Yeah, Mori did 3-bet this from the small blind, drawing 2 against Dmitry. Is leading out here, which means he is also drawing 1. Oh, he's Pat. That's kind of scary if you're in Urbanovic's shoes. He does have enough chips to call on the next street of betting, and then maybe make a decision on the river to leave him with 1 chip.
Now this tells me that Dmitry is debating if he should break.
Yes.
He looked at the 1 card that he got back, and then he put them all back together. If it's just an instant break, you know, you just throw it back out there, no big deal. But I think he's probably got something somewhat reasonable, but probably debating if he should pitch it back or if he should stand pat. And Mori does bet here immediately, so.
Dmitry knows from the previous hand that Mori was patting 8, 7, 6, 5 deuce.
25
so
more.
maybe that went into his decision making.
And Dmitry does raise all in.
This is quite a sick raise. If you can get Mori to break anything for 25,000 more chips, you definitely increase your equity.
Mori probably
Dmitry
working with
acted
what
very
here,
fast. That's
like
what
an
I'm
8-7.
Yeah, something like that, similar to the previous hand. But if it goes 1-1, your equity is so much higher as Dmitry than if it goes Pat 1.
I'll break a 9.
This would be the sickest forced break for a quarter if he was bluffing.
Oh,
yes,
beautiful! You broke
exactly like I said. This was a
shouldn't have
very
broken.
good raise for just
That's
25,000 more chips.
The 25 chip break.
Yeah, that's not 3.
Mori would have had a 9-7.
Made the 9 anyway.
That was fake.
How did you get
All right, so Mori pitches a 9 and makes a 9 back. That's going to beat the king that Dmitry Urbanovic drew, and we are going to lose Dmitry Urbanovic in 7th place here.
To get somebody to break for 200 more is hard.
Yeah.
For a quarter? Wow. That was cheap.
That was impressive.
Yeah, either way,
Am I
Dmitry
allowed
played
to
it.
move
He would
over
have
here
lost
so I
his
have a
hand.
better shot at seeing to the other end?
I think so.
Just
Right
to
now,
summarize here,
I'm sure you can
Urbanovic
because
busting
there's
out
no
in
whole cards attached.
7th place, taking home
And they might
$28,000.
put you back in there though for the group.
No, they'll start on C2.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so Mori's
I
makes
was like, you're really going to break?
going Mori's way
Can't
again.
believe it.
I mean, I just thought.
I mean, he definitely did it on purpose.
He did that.
Yeah,
That
he
was a
did.
reverse,
He did.
though.
That was good.
He
That
was
was good,
trying to,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I have you.
Right. Well, it wasn't reverse. It was very.
But if he made it, he
Bogdanovich
probably
from
Yeah.
C2
Yeah.
eliminated.
You know what I meant.
Taking
Yeah.
home
Or
$28,000.
you're doing a stream, or you're affiliated with a stream in Texas now?
Well, we are, yeah.
But
At the Champions.
they have their own stuff.
No, not
They have their own
when PGT goes. When PokerGO tour
Oh, it's
goes
just
to Texas.
PGT, but it's.
Right now it's them. It's just themselves.
I see.
Yeah.
That was a crazy hand.
Dimitri. There's
2 bets.
10 seconds.
I think his play makes sense because, like, if he has to call anyway for a quarter, even if he, you know, I mean,
You know, he did it
like,
right.
even if he makes like a pair, he probably should call.
No.
Theoretically. Yeah, it's a small pair.
Theoretically, maybe. But
I don't
I mean,
know.
if he's snowing. I mean, it's
he-
probably
if
not
he
the case,
made
but
it.
you're getting 1,000 to 1.
I know.
But if he made it, he's not going to raise, right?
I don't know him.
If he made it,
I
he's not going to raise.
took it at face value. I mean,
Yeah.
Dimitri's raises are not quite face value.
2 hands
Huh?
left after 3.
He likes to raise.
He likes to. I just don't know him. He seemed like he's pretty, you know, like the ones that don't know the game. You know, like the ones that don't know the game, their actions are true, real.
Oh, really? No,
Yeah, he
no,
does.
he plays.
You know,
this game
like here's my last
year
game.
long.
That's cool. I mean,
Got it. Okay, Pat.
yeah,
Yeah. No, he knows the games.
What a psych up for
that was very good.
Doesn't impress. Yeah,
You
I mean,
got
it doesn't
owned
impress him,
hard.
too.
We just-
You definitely outplayed me there.
Sometimes the cards just don't want you to.
I could have drawn one to a better 8-7,
Yeah.
but I
So he
broke into
plays
a
mixed
2 to-
games. I guess you guys are
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
that he does. Okay.
Plays mixed game tournaments all year long.
Oh my God. Thanks
Yeah.
for telling me now.
Yeah.
Loves to run bluffs in this game.
Does he?
In my limited experience, yes. And in stud, he bluffed me in the most ridiculous stud hand. It's one of
Good
the
for him.
worst folds I've ever made. Before I knew.
Now I know,
He
Dimitri.
got you for a quarter.
Now I know, Dimitri.
Now always call.
I'm pretty sure I was told about this hand, and I was told that it would not be in the live coverage. So I'm just going to say it anyways. I don't know the exact action, but he had to call like 50,000 chips into a pot of like 1 million. Thought he was just drawing dead and ended up having like a dozen outs.
Remember when Dimitri was going to win 3 bracelets in the summer?
Yeah, that was definitely the talk. Goes by Coliseum online.
Yeah.
Someone in this room,
I know him.
me, once beat him at a scoop final
You
table.
also.
Wow.
Where I also busted Jason Mercer.
Wow.
Then I chopped heads up, and I lost.
Wow.
Scoop 8 game, in case anyone's wondering.
Wow.
Back in my heyday.
Mori right back at it, of course. He's feeling the rush, I feel like. We got to Deuce-to-Seven triple draw, and Mori just decided to try and win every pot. And he's Pat.
Cool thing to mention here, Mori's wife and his daughter are at the PokerGO studio watching the feed without delay, which right now it looks the same
I know
as the
him
feed
real
with delay.
well. Spread it out. It's okay.
Oh boy, thank
hang out
God
the
it's
field.
not there. Thank God it's not there.
The deuce, I had 3 deuces.
Even if I made it, I was going to check and call, but.
I mean, we're sitting here playing Mori's Mix with Mori.
That's
That
7,
seems
3,
dumb,
4,
does,
deuce,
it
deuce.
really does.
4 deuce, so I cut a deuce.
right? Like, you guys created a tournament called
Really good.
Mori's Mix, and we got to play against Mori.
All right, we're changing this to Danny's mix right now. Daniel's. Daniel's mix.
Hey, you gotta jump the line there.
You know that was all Tim Duckworth, by the way.
I know.
Seriously, he asked
I
me,
know. I
can I
looked at the
call it
mix and I
Mori's
was like,
mix?
this doesn't seem like
He
Mori's
said,
Mix.
can I call it Mori's mix? I said, no, he did it anyway. I
Yeah.
said, I'm going to put Omaha Hi in there. I said, nobody wants it. I'm doing it anyway. That's our man. That's our commissioner. Makes up his mind, it's done.
It is kind of a fun sort of thought experiment. If you watching at home, and I know you guys are all super angry right now, but so please calm down. If you at home got to organize a tournament with 5 games,
What's the next game?
call
and
it
what's
the
next
Donnie
game?
mix, the Kevin mix, the Remko mix, which 5 games would you pick?
Did I tell?
Donnie,
Are you
yeah.
aware of my theory or my idea? I told Kevin about it yesterday, but I stole it from this idea here, which Tim Duckworth implemented with Mori's mix. Is that the WSOP Player of the Year should get to brand a tournament the next year.
Oh wow, I kind of like that.
So and you would give them basically like a menu of like options because they can't just be like blind man's bluff.
Right.
But you could be like if Sean Deeb wins, it's called the Sean Deeb X, and he can pick the game, he can pick the buy-in, he can do the whole thing.
So this mix is Limit Hold'em, Limit Omaha High, Deuce-to-Seven triple draw, Razz, and Stud. I believe it's a 5-game mix.
Right.
Kevin,
Six
what-
game
games. 2 flop, 2 draw, 2 stud.
Okay, right.
Limit Hold'em, Razz, triple draw, Omaha, Stud, and Badugi. Your favorite, Badugi.
I love Bedoui.
Once you're there, what are you gonna do?
Well, let's make this simple for the sake of us discussing this. What if we do a 3-game mix? Donnie, what would you pick?
Me right now would pick No Limit Hold'em. No Limit Hold'em, PLO,
Jack.
and then I think I would pick maybe Deuce-to-Seven triple draw. Maybe probably Stud High, or sorry, Stud High Low. And my reasoning is that if I got people to play that,
Right.
I feel like I can play all of them reasonably well. But you might suck in No Limit Hold'em and PLO players who think, oh, well, that's 2/3 of the mix.
Right.
I'll just wing it in the Stud 8, and then they'll just absolutely butcher the Stud 8 part, and then I can gain a lot there.
See, I was coming at this more from like, what do you enjoy playing the most? But you're thinking of like how to
No,
make
I'm trying to win
money.
the most money. I'm done. Poker for fun for me is
It's gone.
well, I shouldn't say it's gone. Poker is always going to be fun. I've gotten to the point where it's always fun. So now I need to then try and win money.
Right. So Kevin, which 3 games would you pick?
Big O, Badugi, and Raz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not sign up for that.
I think that would be a really, really fun mix.
Have you ever played Suicide Raz?
No,
Have you heard of it?
I don't think so.
I made it up.
Okay, well then.
But it caught on. It caught on in our
Triple draw.
game.
It was triple draw
If you
that
get
got all
dealt,
the
if you get
chips.
dealt a king face up
Yeah,
at any
triple
point in
draw,
the
yeah.
hand,
And
you get to
Razz, that's
kill
right.
the hand of one of your
We went from
opponents.
bet and a half to
Wow.
leading it.
And if it's on the bring in, you get to
No,
do
the
it when the action gets to you.
True. I mean, no time. It's so fast.
For small stakes where people just want to gamble, I could see that being a lot of fun.
It was very fun.
Not a good situation for me at all. I mean, just nothing about this is good for me. Unless I hit.
Yeah.
Then I'll be like, oh, wait, never mind. Not so bad.
Daniel not really practicing the,
hand is not very good.
power of positive
Not
thinking
good.
here, thinking that this is bad for him. Omaha High, Queen 8-3, couple of hearts.
Like if the blind was 50%, I might have just ripped open, folded it.
I saw that. I know.
Yeah, I look.
I
I'm like,
saw
oh,
you. I saw
God.
you realize the blind. was
It's
all blind
75, so I
was
put
there.
50 in.
Great.
And flop no pair, no draw.
I am completely unaware of anywhere that plays Limit Omaha High other than Crown Casino in Melbourne.
Really?
When we used to go there for Aussie Millions, they used to have like a 5-10 Limit Omaha High game.
That's crazy. I've never played that. I
So
think
like if
I've
you're
never
in the
played that.
chat and like your local casino or whatever plays Limit Omaha High, please let me know. I would love to know where that game is still being played.
Right.
Boulder Station.
Really?
Yeah. Game is nuts. They play it 10-handed.
Oh my God, that sounds brutal.
Let's see if it's running right now.
10-handed Limit Omaha High? Oh, Jesus Lord.
4-8 Omaha High with half kill, one table
Oh my
running.
God.
With a list for 8-16 Omaha
I mean,
High half kill.
at least they put the half kill on. At
Yeah,
least
right.
they put the half
See,
kill on.
there's one table at Boulder Station running right now.
Kevin is leaving as we speak.
Yeah, we're out of here.
South Point 5100? What? No. Does that really happen?
They do. It's an Omaha mix.
Oh my God.
And they have.
Yeah, but I'm
limit-
saying straight. That's the game you sit down. No mix. Like you play this game
Nope,
start to
that's-
finish.
Right.
Let's see him.
They mix it like Omaha High and
Jacks
Omaha 8 or better.
Jacks.
Well, that would just be a
The pair in my hand
massive
was not that high.
mind F.
Cards were very good.
My 3-card mix would probably be triple draw
I had some of
Badugi
the best nines you'll
and
ever
no limit
see.
single draw. I think the draw games are the most fun, and then having one no limit variety in there
Similar.
to keep it
9-9,
spicy.
Queen 10 double suited.
That's a good one. I'd play that.
By the way, a game I also
Premium nines.
will take credit for
That is summon
is
Bedoui.
no limit single draw Badugi. But I think Donnie made the argument once that it should be double draw.
I like double draw a lot more. I like double draw pot limit.
Yeah, but that would be fun. That'd be a good game.
I think it'd be a better game if you made the pot limit triple draw at the series just double draw. I wouldn't play so much bigger than all the other games in the dealer's choice. I'm really excited to walk out there on break or when this is over and watch people call
That was good.
pot limit triple draw.
Scary.
Scared? Quick call.
All right, Daniel is
Scared
all
me. I
about
don't know
this
about
hand,
it.
so
Are you going to break your aces?
given that he's got, looks like 475 back.
Water's fine.
Yeah,
Could be big.
this game is going to play really big because you just always have the pot odds to call with any good
Can it?
flush draw,
Need to
straight draw,
start
two pair.
I'll try.
The double KO.
The equities run so close here.
3 players.
I think Daniel should have actually 3-bet to deny people behind from coming in.
Here.
King 6 deuce rainbow.
Check. Bet.
He just wanted to see 3 cards, flop some equity, and go with it, but has nothing left to continue.
Yeah, so Negreanu in a real bit of trouble here, down to about 475 from the looks of it after folding. Zolotow is going to continue.
So there's already 875,000 chips in the pot from just the pre-flop action. Negreanu folded, calling 125,000 to win 1,000,000 chips. You're just getting the right price of whatever you have in this game, and it just leads to such really big multi-way pots a lot of the time.
Check.
Think.
I mean, Zolotow also very, very short.
Something tells me Negreanu didn't fold because of ICM. He folded because he didn't think he had the right equity.
Bet.
And Funkhouser continues for 250 on the turn here. And this is the sort of a term and life type decision here for Zolotow.
Yeah, he knows, and we all know that the ace is a really, really good card for the pre-flop aggressor. And Funkhouser just picks up an extra, I mean, a 1,000,000 chip pot for sure.
Folding on the flop very often.
Only
It
the
is
king
funny that
done.
Funkhouser
Yeah.
is part of this no whole card stream, because he must be telling his friends and family, no, I promise, poker final tables usually do have whole cards. But whenever he's on one of our final tables, which happened a couple of years
You
ago
got a customer.
in the stud event when he and Dan Zach went heads up.
Right.
Me neither.
So Zolotow and Negreanu now both very short stacked. The man after which this mix is named, Mori Eskandani, still sitting comfortable here as we play Limit Omaha.
So imagine the Boulder Station game, $4, $8. There are
Do I have to?
There are
Do
no
I have to
$5 chips
imagine
at the table.
The Boulder Station game.
Yeah.
You know, I went to Boulder Station like not too long ago, looking for somebody, but
Looking for some, like what? Would someone owe you money or something?
no, just this woman that I used to play with all the time at Green Valley Ranch, and then the pandemic happened. Had no idea what happened to her. Went to try and find her. Figured, hey, she might be at Boulder Station because I knew she played there sometimes. She sometimes went to Sunset Station, like whatever. So yeah, I just went there and I walked in and I was like, what in the world is this game?
It's like walking back to
I'm pretty sure David
1990.
Sklansky was playing in the room when I went in there.
every pot. I mean, obviously it's a single winner game, but you have to stack up at least a rack or two sometimes of chips every single time you win the hand. It's all $1 chips. There's no $5 chips.
Oh my god.
And it's 5 ways to every single river. And the game plays 10-handed. You're squished next to everyone else. The chips are just stacked up high. Just a really good experience. You need to do it at least once.
You're selling me on this.
Yeah,
really
you're really selling it.
You never lived until you had to stack a rack of chips, and the very next hand you're just
Given
you're giving them right back into the middle, and you have to stack another rack the very next hand. They got some good breakfast food there.
Oh man.
Max is deep in the tank at this point. I think the turn.
Max has been tanking quite a bit.
Yeah.
And, like, relatively speaking to the rest of the table, he's been thoughtful. Not that it's been super egregious or anything like that, but he has been thoughtful.
Well, that's why they have the shot clocks. You get 30 seconds per decision.
Which, by the way, in limit games, shouldn't even be necessary.
10 seconds.
Oh boy.
2 bets.
Oh wow. Coleman took a stab there, got raised, and let it go. And Gordo with a bit of a smile here. What is that? 7-5-5?
Looks like 7-6-5 because there's a 3 across, and then a jack maybe or a queen.
That's the only one for the day, though.
I guess he showed a bluff very happily. Just windmill slammed it. Oh, so going back to. Oh.
Yeah, let me take this one real quick before we get back to that thought. The road to the championship is available to you at home as well. If you go to pgt.com/dream-seat, you can win a seat into the $1 million championship free roll, which will also include the top 40 on the season-long standings, and starting stacks are based on leaderboard position. So go check that out. Maybe you'll win your way into the PGT Championship event at the end of this season.
So going back to talking about the prizes for winning WSOP Player of the Year, in the Magic the Gathering community, if you won the World Championship, you got to design your own playing card. You got to make the stats on it, what it does, and some of them have actually turned out to be incredibly powerful staples for their entire existence in the Magic community.
So wait, isn't that like almost too easy to create a good card?
Yeah, I mean it is, but they want these cards to be played.
Right.
That was the entire goal. And some really old school legends still have their cards being played till this day.
All right, so Negreanu looking for his spot. Gordo in a terrific situation here.
I just got a text asking about hole cards. You want to take this one more time?
Yeah, there's a pinned message in the chat. But yeah, we are not showing hole cards because our president of PokerGO, Mori Eskandani, is at this final table. Mori Eskandani, of course, with the highest level of security clearance.
Close one.
And just to emphasize how serious we take game security, we are not using RFID cards or our tracking system until Mori has been eliminated.
Oh boy. The lies and plans. Ace of diamonds.
I guess this happens maybe once every
I think I had spades and clubs, maybe.
decade. If you think about how often Mori Eskandani plays poker tournament, let alone how often he makes a final table. So, bear with us here. This is a very unique situation for us as well. We're just making sure we do right by all the security measures that are in place to make sure that everything goes off without a hitch.
I will say it's nice to have a very lively, active, talkative group of players at the table.
Probably not folding at any point, but there's always that possibility.
You say saves?
No.
Gordo has raised the last 3
Never,
hands
at
in
any
a row.
point. This one I don't even think I'm folding this hand. What do we got? 175.
Jack, deuce, deuce, couple of spades. Daniel is very
Check
short
one
there. What, 250, 300 behind?
I guess let's put him to the test.
Raise you. I got full house.
All in.
Check raise and full house announced.
I don't.
All right, Negreanu's all in here for his tournament life.
I got spades and an ace.
I got Funk's hand.
Some backdoor diamonds, backdoor straights. I have like.
I like your hand.
Yeah, unless it's a 10.
I like it.
The 10 is bad.
Nice hand.
Thanks.
All right, ace 9, 8, 4 for Daniel.
Deuce.
Queen 10, 10, 9 for Gordinsky.
Diamonds.
Oh, boy.
Backdoor
Too
diamonds
many
for
outs.
Daniel.
How can I possibly-
too many
He's got
outs
two
to
flush
go.
draws now.
Possibly, babe.
Oh, the wrong one!
The 10 of diamonds, but that's the wrong
got there,
diamond
but
because
yeah.
Gordinsky has pocket
Double
tens
flush
and
draws. Did me dirty.
full house.
Good game. All right, Mori's mix. Get him, buddy.
Nicely done.
Yeah, cheers, bud.
All right, so Daniel Negreanu,
Hit it anyway.
I want to see.
our next player to bust. Negreanu collecting 38,500 for his efforts.
Spade and the diamond.
We'll get them tomorrow.
Negreanu out in 6th place. Mori Eskandani, of course, still holding strong in his own mix.
You think he's going to win it?
Of course, he has to. I mean, it's the Mori mix. Nothing would be more fitting than him winning this.
And then I think we're going to have to keep the name. And keep the games, I'm guessing?
I mean, I guess so. I guess this is going to be a new WSOP event real soon. I do like the fact that there's no chop pot games.
That's the best part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
This mix. And that was the idea behind it, you know, try and get a decent mix in there that is
Not as good at tens as you
all
can.
one winner games.
Who could ask for better tens?
Ask for a better river.
10 seconds.
All right, so 5-handed right now.
Wow, a walk. Sweet.
Near walk. Two
Steve
bets.
is under 2 bets now, so the next hand he plays, he will be all in.
Did you give him the right phone?
Funk opened the button here. Dead small blind being Negreanu, and Gordo called out of the big blind. Check called a bet on the flop. 9-5 deuce flush draw. Turn 7. Check check. Board pairs and brings in the front door flush. Gordo could pretty credibly represent a lot of different hands here. Decides to check, try to get to a cheap showdown. Does Funk think he has enough equity to bet? It looks like he does. Turned his hand into a bluff. Gordo's on fire this round. Just decided to play 5 out of the 7 hands and has won most of them.
25, 50, 125, 250.
Switching the game up here, 7-card stud is next up in the rotation. As a reminder, the rotation is, I'll start with 7-card stud because that's what we're getting into right now. Next is Badugi. Then we have Limit Hold'em, Razz, Deuce-to-Seven triple draw, and Limit Omaha Hi. All one-winner games, a rotation of 6 games. The idea was to have 2 flop, 2 draw, 2 stud variants. And that's what we got. It also wasn't originally going to be called Mori's Mix. It was going to be called the Commissioner's Mix.
Wow.
From Tim Duckworth, PGT
like
Commissioner.
another walk.
But he felt that if players saw that, they might jokingly revolt against playing it. So he decided to name it after Mori Eskandani, which is fitting. Hall of Famer. The guy who runs the show here at PokerGO also has a PGT Mixed Games title. Plays a lot with a lot of these players
25 more.
in the big games around town.
Gordo brought in with the deuce.
Wanted you to call.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Steve takes it down, shows queens. Definitely wanted some
You
action
need
there.
to get pumped
Did
up
not
some.
get it.
Queen. You and me both, Steve. Queens, you take action probably. Definitely.
Just glad I didn't play the hand you knocked Daniel out on.
You had a hand you could have played?
Ace deuce of clubs and the deuce came out deuce deuce, but I would have been all in with no money and then
Oh,
hit
really?
the day, you
I
know.
would have actually seen the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he had slightly more chips than I did, so it would have been, he gets the higher position if you knocked us both out. Meanwhile, you're going to punish me this hand.
Was Daniel on the list of 16 for the 100K? I assume he's in there.
Steve needs to get pumped up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. I would only hope. I mean, come on,
When is the break?
100K buying mixed games, I can't imagine.
At the end of the
D-Negs is missing out on that one, so.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
You probably have once a year, maybe. Get
10 seconds.
fired up. No, not even once a year. Never. That's
Another win here for Gordo. Small, but still
not even. Yeah.
keeping the chips away from other players.
The closer it gets to the 100K, the more excited I get because we get to see not only the final table coverage, but we get to see day one coverage.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be, I don't know, better, maybe on par with the 50K coverage.
Yeah, not to be too much of a homer here, but I cannot think of anyone else who does more mixed games coverage than PokerGO. You know, we've been going strong here during the PGT Mixed Game Series. As Kevin mentioned, that's going to be leading into 3 days of coverage from the $100,000 buy-in Super High Roller Bowl Mixed Games, the biggest buy-in mixed games tournament in the history of poker. And then, of course, PokerGO, in partnership with the WSOP this summer, is going to be bringing plenty of coverage there, and oftentimes, you know, plenty of the mixed game stuff, including the PPC that Daniel Negreanu won last year, is on the streaming schedule. So if mixed games are your thing, PokerGO is the place to be.
The 50K actually looks really good this year in its place in the schedule.
Yeah.
The only things that you'll miss are if you make it somewhat deep, like day 3, you'll miss the 10K Deuce-to-Seven triple draw. And if you make it really deep, you'll miss the 1500 8-game mix. So you don't really give too much in terms of tournaments away for playing the 50K.
50 now, right?
Maybe I'll just run super well early on and decide this will be my year.
Fingers crossed.
I hope so.
Complete.
We're going to start off with the 1K Mystery Millions and just bank off whatever the top prize is.
It's $1 million at least, and then $1 million bounty,
Yeah.
top bounty.
Yeah, with 4 flights, I expect it to be absolutely massive. They added an extra flight to all of the 1500 or 1K big no limit tournaments, Monster Stack, Millionaire Maker, Mystery Millions.
Yeah, understandably so. I mean, they're running out of space.
Yeah.
over there. I mean, that's a good problem to have, of
Yeah,
course.
for sure.
Somewhat similar to here on the PGT, you know, smaller version, but still running out of space. I mean, the studio's been packed. PGT kickoff was packed. PokerGO Cup had to get alternates. PGT Mixed Games here has been packed. I would only imagine the PGT PLO series that's coming up, that starts at the end of March, is going to be jam-packed. So yeah.
You know, who needs that pizza place next door? Let's just knock it down and expand.
Well, there is the next door is there is an empty studio.
Oh, good.
Or an empty space, or whatever it is. It used to be an art gallery. It used to be a space that Remko and I went to once for the revealing of a Minotaur painting with Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten. Wild stuff, man. Trust me.
What makes it a Minotaur painting?
Like there was an actual Minotaur, like at the poker table, like in this painting, dealing to Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten heads up. And then there was also an actual Minotaur, well, a person dressed as a Minotaur walking around this party. It was wild stuff, man.
That does sound quite crazy.
All right, here we have Steve Zolotow is getting his chips in.
375 total.
Maury's got a jack up.
I think I've gone through.
You have queens again, Steve?
No.
I think
Straight
Steve was the
flush
bring-in. Gordo completed. Maury raised, and then to deny equity, Steve decided to go with this hand with 3 diamonds.
Yeah, 3 diamonds. He gets a 9 to pair his 9. Maury's got ace-10 in the hole. Jack up gets a king. A 10 over there for Zolotow. An ace pairs Maury. An 8 for Zolotow. A deuce for Maury.
Give Steve the 7. We all want it.
Yeah, a 7 would give him a straight. Maury gets a 5.
Oh,
Steve
okay.
does not like what he sees. He gets another diamond, but
Nicely done,
4 of them
Joe.
does not count towards a flush. You need 5, and we are going to lose Steve Zolotow in 5th place. Steve Zolotow cashing for $52,500. Everyone left is guaranteed $70,000. And that man right there, Mori Eskandani, the Poker Hall of Famer, charging ahead quite nicely in the tournament named after him.
I'm deaf in this ear, by the way. Yeah. I'll stop. That's why I keep like leaning over.
Well, I played 2 or 3 hours with him last night, and I think it's a good mix for him.
Slowly but surely, the average age at the table is getting younger. You know, we lost Daniel, we lost Steve Zolotow there. For a while, I felt like, you know, it was like when I used to go over to my grandparents' house. You know, Maury's got his phone is ringing over in the corner because he doesn't know how to shut it off. Like, people can't see the cards, you know.
Is Maury in his 70s?
Probably. I went home
I
yesterday.
think so. But he's pretty
Still-
spry. He's pretty young,
still pretty
you know.
sharp. I mean, I've only
Chaos
played
on the home front.
a handful of times in
And,
cash games with him.
25 feels a little
But
rich.
you see him.
How does this work?
25K feels a little rich.
I would imagine that playing poker
it's
helps
not-
Is that
keep
off
your
card or
mental
dead card?
sharpness
That's
over a
off
long
card.
period of
First
time, you
first
know.
3 cards.
Even you know, Doyle was always sharp in his later years, you know, very sharp, you know. Always quick with the jokes, was obviously able to play cash games and you know, some tournaments here and there sparingly, but
Complete.
Yeah, well into his 80s, right?
yeah, for sure. They say you got to keep the mind fresh and young, so I'm sure poker can do plenty of that.
I hope so.
Next
I'm only
Coleman takes that
35,
one.
and sometimes I wake up, my body feels like it's just 60s.
Little update here on the payouts. Zolotow collecting 52,500.
And I feel really, really shot.
Payouts going up and up and up, obviously.
Not playing well, not feeling locked in at all.
Final 4 guaranteed
Well,
70K.
I'm winning all the showdowns.
210K up top for the winner, though. That's very significant. Playing stud. Gordo with the bring in with the 3 of spades. Moore's going to come along and make the call.
Complete.
Change to Bedoui. 75, 125?
Back to where we started
your
with
button? No.
Badugi.
I think Daniel lost. Yeah.
Mike Gordinsky, of course, former winner of the 50K PPC at the World Series of Poker. So is it safe for me to assume that he might be the toughest opponent here at this table?
I could see that. The PPC is definitely one of the hardest tournaments of the summer. It's the pinnacle for mixed games for sure.
2.
And given his chip stack, I'd put him as the favorite to win. Anything can happen in these single winner pots, though. You lose a couple hands and you're out of the tournament, or you win a couple hands and you're the new chip leader.
That's why we made the mix. Let there be blood, baby. Let's go.
I love it.
None of this chop pot nonsense.
Mori's really applying the pressure here. Very good raise
Alan, do you
in
have a hat
position.
you can sell me?
A hat you can sell me.
Hey, at least he's offering to buy it. You know.
I mean, we'll just give you one, man. You made a final table. It's all good. Speaking of making final tables, you guys like that transition, huh? You can win your way to the PGT, and you can do so for $560. There are 2 upcoming satellites that you should get into if you want to play here at the PokerGO studio and compete on the PokerGO Tour. Monday, March 24th, there is a PGT PLO Series satellite, and Monday, April 7th, you can win your way into the U.S. Poker Open. Our satellite offerings so far this season have been the biggest satellite offerings we've ever had on the PGT in terms of attendance, so plenty of seats up for grabs. I think the PokerGO Cup satellite gave away 14 seats. I think for the mixed games, there were 10 seats that were given away, so plenty of opportunity to come on down to Aria, play in a $560 satellite, and get in there. All the information can be found on pgt.com. Just click the schedule button, and it's all listed there. Max Coleman here, betting, but going to be a quick fold out of Mori.
Crazy Mike doesn't have a deputy, right? He's
Doesn't
not
have
here.
a-
Nobody else can start the games.
A deputy?
He'll bar you guys.
He says, what does he say? Co-dictator?
Co-dictator, yeah.
Oxymoron?
A minister.
Yeah.
No, there's not even.
No.
He's not in town.
Oh, cool. Can I have the, that one? Yeah, thank you. Beautiful.
It's bothering you?
Right.
A little bit.
Sounds like the lights might be getting a little bit to Funkhouser there.
Bothering, but too strong.
A couple years ago, I did buy myself a pair of prescription sunglasses, just in case I ever make a streamed final table again.
How's that going for you?
Hasn't happened. And they'll always perpetually be in my car, just in case I need them for moments like this where the lights are a little too bright. I'm not really a hat guy too often. The only time I wear a hat is when I go golfing.
Mori's getting too much off my forehead.
But I
Creases.
feel like the sunglasses would help.
There we see Funkhouser with a nice PGT hat on. If you want your own PGT hat, you can go to shop.pokergo.com, home of the official PokerGO Tour merch and PokerGO merch. Got stuff like what Mori's wearing too, zip-ups, hats, plenty of t-shirts, other accessories available.
That's more my style. The zip-up hoodies, every day, all day.
Well, I
every day.
put in a word for you. We should have one coming for you.
Oh, nice. Appreciate that.
Coleman gonna bet here, and Gordinsky gives it up. So
I wouldn't expect Badugi to play too big in this mix, especially with these 4 players. Everyone in this mix that's left has played in incredibly high stakes cash games that all include Badugi. They're really not giving up any edges here. They know that Badugi is a pre-draw game where you really, really want to start with strong holdings. We have seen the biggest pots in Razz so far. We can see Gordinsky still with the chip lead, closely followed by Eskandani, Coleman in third, and Funkhouser in fourth. They're not really in the danger zone yet, but lose a hand and then you'll very quickly Going back to our comment before, Limit Hold'em might be the most unbearable game without hole cards. Badugi might be up there too. It's so hard. People play. You're supposed to play so tight, and all these players know that you're supposed to play really tight. I played the 1500 Badugi the last series, and it was amazing how many 3-4-way pots that people were entering, drawing to the 10-9-5 because they're told that making a Badugi is hard, not understanding that they are such equity dogs against people who actually play the game properly. I made day 3 that tournament, and I was like one of the sickest I've ever been, and I was like falling asleep at the table. I literally posted on Twitter asking if someone had a room at Paris that I could use just to shower so I could warm my body heat up on our dinner break.
That's rough. That's for sure.
Yes.
I feel like you see it every summer. People here and there are getting sick, of course, but I'm talking about like kind of severely sick. People see people throwing up in trash cans, stuff like that.
Not that bad, but it was not fun having no mental faculties about me playing for 6 figures of money.
Gordinsky gonna bet here after check 2 by Funkhouser. Funkhouser coming along.
2. 1.
2 for Funkhouser, 1 for Gordinsky. Badugi is a triple draw format. 4 cards. Best hand that you're trying to make is ace, deuce, 3, 4, 1 of each suit. Check and a bet. Gordinsky continuing to bet here. Funkhouser gives it up.
If I could give any advice to someone who's just learning Badugi, as I just said, it's really hard to make a Badugi, but the game in its totality is essentially a 3-card game. Since it is so hard to make a 4-card complete Badugi hand, you should strive to make a 3-card hand that contains an ace. Ace deuce 3, ace deuce 4, ace 3 5. A lot of the times when those hands get to showdown, those will win over people drawing to 7s, 8s, 9s.
Just running the games.
Switching it up here, now playing Limit Hold'em. Nice easy game. I'm sure everyone out there is familiar with it. Mori here going to come in with a raise under the gun. Wins the first one.
Too much, right?
125.
Oh,
I thought you said 75, 150.
that's what I heard too.
Next level. We gotta finish level.
Yeah, next level.
Okay.
Yeah, they did just draw for
That's what I
hands,
called.
and then
It's not so many trips.
say the next level is 75, 150 for the blind. So
So we're still playing 125.
Yeah.
looks like Maury's got
And my favorite hand. Ace
4
seven of
million, a
clubs.
little over.
Yeah, at
What's your
least 4
favorite hand?
million.
Well, that
Let's see
time
it.
nobody called, so it became my favorite hand.
Gordinsky looks like he's got about
You
5.7,
call him, beat that
5.8
one.
million.
My next hand is going to be my next favorite hand.
Oh, that's how it works.
Probably 3 for
I like
Max
that.
Coleman there, maybe just below,
This
and
is
then
not my favorite hand. Take it.
1.8 or so for Funkhouser.
Your favorite hand had me dominated.
My favorite hand was 8-10 of spade against Daniel. A couple nights ago. That was just perfect. Raise.
Mori raising here from the small blind.
Ace 7 of
Nothing
clubs,
there for
my
Coleman.
favorite hand. I'm telling you, see?
Boy, that's a weird one.
What the heck, Maury? What?
I think we need to look into that.
What was that magic trick? That there needs to be an investigation.
First one I liked. I didn't have the Ace 7 of clubs. This one came through.
We need to look into what
The
just
greatest
happened here.
magic trick I ever done. First year of producing poker. We had a producer. He was semi-magician. He kept showing me card tricks. His name was David. I said, David, go ahead and shuffle the cards. Shuffle. So spread it, spread it. So whichever card you touch is 6 of spades. You touch it. Turn it over, 6 of spades.
Nice.
He turned
turned
away.
away, yeah.
Said, you got to show me how you did that.
Nice.
You must show me how you did that. I let him
Wants to learn
sweat
it.
for a whole year, then told him I just
That's
got
great.
lucky, man. I get that once out of 51
That's
times.
great. Just picked one.
That's very good.
Are we on break?
All right, the players are going to go on a quick break here, but we are not.
Want to play online poker for free? With Play Poker Go, you get the thrill of authentic poker anytime, anywhere. From quick casual games to action-packed tournaments, Play Poker Go lets you compete against real players around the globe, all for free. No bots, no gimmicks, just pure poker fun. Hone your skills and enjoy the poker experience you love. Explore Play Poker Go on web, iOS, and Android. Deal yourself in now.
And we're back. Short commercial break.
5 to 2.
There you can see the chip counts. Mike Gordinsky up on top, 5.45 million. David Funkhouser bringing up the rear, 1.25 million. Mori Eskandani, Max Coleman sandwiched in the middle. Four-handed play here in event number 5 of the 2025 PGT Mixed Games Series. Final 4 players are guaranteed $70,000, $210,000 up top for the winner.
To be that good at two things is crazy.
So much goo after bluffing me.
It's really not good. It's legitimately
All
impressive.
the goo.
Thanks.
I mean, that was a George bluff.
Coleman versus Gordinsky here. Queen 4-4 rainbow. Gordinsky checks. Still playing limit hold'em here. Coleman bets. We are now playing the bigger level, limits 150, 300,000. Check raise from Gordinsky. Coleman's coming along. Deuce of spades on the turn.
How many they got so far?
It's a really good board texture flop for Gordo to check raise with a wide variety of hands. The number of 4s that Coleman has in his opening range are pretty much limited to maybe queen 4 at the worst. Very credibly represents. And now Coleman has to decide whether his hand is good enough against the entire range that Gordo could have at this point. There kind of is something about the timing tells, even at this high level of play. When people start thinking, normally they're not too quote-unquote balanced, as you see in No Limit Hold'em, where everyone takes the entire time to make a decision.
10 seconds.
Check, check. Ace Jack for Gordinsky, but that is no good up against the 6s for Max Coleman. Max Coleman's going to win a nice pot there.
Yeah, the Ace Jack was raising the flop for value and then betting the turn also for value. Very well played by both players.
I think I heard Mori there ask how the 15K Dealer's Choice is going. Looks like they're up over 40 entries in the field. First break, Samuel Sternfield is the chip leader, which means he wins the special chip leader bonus that we're doing here in all the tournaments of PGT Mixed Games. So $2,000 in the pocket for Sternfield. You'll know that Sternfield has been in the mix earlier at the Mixed Game Series, but then took a couple days off to go visit some friends. Prior commitment, but did say he would try and get back here for Monday. He did, and he's already spun up the chip lead early in the 15K Dealer's Choice Tournament. Coverage of that is over on PokerGO.com, and then the final table will be live streamed tomorrow. We are guaranteed tomorrow to have hole cards because Mori is not playing. I know that for a fact. This was the only tournament that he could play. He was even on the fence about playing this one because he forgot that we take Sundays off on the PGT, and he was like, okay, I can play. It's the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. It won't get in the way of work. No big deal. And then he's like, oh, wait, but we have Sundays off. So if I make the final table, I have to shift everything on Monday. Well, he's here. I'm sure he did some shifting this morning, but all good.
I guess that's bad news for production because we go from them having almost a day off with Mori at the table to the hardest that they're going to have to work all series with 20 different games and not knowing what's coming next. They're going to really have to be impressive with keeping up with things. Shout out production for tomorrow. Good luck.
Raise here from Coleman against Mori Eskandani. Mori comes along. King 7 deuce on the flop with a couple of clubs. Queen of clubs comes in on the turn. Mori checks. Bet from Coleman, call from Mori. 6 on the river. Another check from Mori. Coleman gonna fire once again. And Mori gives it up.
Raz.
Time for some Razz. Here we go. A stud variant,
Tim
but
has a vision. You don't get in the way, it sounds like.
He has a pretty good feel, and he talks to all the players. You know, like, how do you get in the way? He's doing all the work. Like, he's discussing it with everyone, trying to get a feel. You know, it's just not right to get in the way.
King, what do I owe for this?
50.
Thank you.
complete from Mori here. Funkhouser was the bring-in.
If I said queen, it would have come.
Raise from
Too greedy.
Gosh.
I
Coleman.
would have said queen. Obviously.
Yeah, this is the level where the ante size jumps from 25% to 33%. There's a lot more in the middle to play for, even four-handed. You expect to see a lot more action in the stud games.
Coleman catches well here, gets a 4. Mori gets a king, but he comes along anyway. Still the small bet on 4th. Bet goes up on 5th. 6 for Coleman, 5 for Mori, and he gives up here.
No pairs.
Coleman says no pairs, so sounds like things ran out quite nicely for him. And he takes that pot there.
Sorry.
As a reminder, because I do see it in some of the chats, no hole cards as long as Mori Eskandani is in the tournament. President of PokerGO with high access to the graphics and whatnot on a regular day. So when he makes it to the final table, which is not often because he doesn't play tournaments that often, we shut him down, you know. Just trying to keep everything on the up and up. If he does happen to go out, we'll turn him back on. Coleman draws bad. Funkhouser draws good. Funkhouser bets.
Yeah, if Coleman has the entire range that he should have from the steal position, Funkhouser could just win the pot right here. Coleman says, I wasn't stealing. Let's take it to another street. Funkhouser could be all in this hand. Much better street for Coleman. And Funkhouser knows that even with his made Jack 10 drawing to a 10 against a hand that could be drawing to an 8 or a 9 or a 7, he is an equity dog at this point. Does he want to commit 300,000 chips with only enough to put in 2 more streets? Big decision.
With 2 more pulls at this, Coleman likely feels very good about his draw.
Yeah, the only way that Funkhouser could feel good about this is the possibility of Coleman pairing his 4. Funkhouser does have a 4 up on his board, which makes it less likely. He knows that after Coleman catches a king on 4th Street, that he wasn't stealing and that he has the goods. Does he want to take the bad side of a coin flip at this point? What do you think? You want to be the ace-king off against the 8s at this point? There's a lot of money in the middle already. We don't have too much left.
I always want to be the ace-king off in that situation. I don't know why. It just feels good.
Well, then let's go. Let's see what Funkhouser decides to do.
Like, I'd rather be just, I think it's because I want to be playing offense. And to me, ace-king, you got to hit, so you're trying to press. Versus 8s, you're just trying to play defense.
Right, true.
Not that you're actually doing anything after the money goes in, but, you know. Some thought here from Funkhouser as he tries to figure this one out. If he's got a good enough price. He is pretty short.
The hardest part about this is if you call, leave yourself with just over 1 bet left, and say Coleman catches a 5, he could just have you drawing dead, and then you're really in a tough spot because you don't know what to do. With 1 card left, Coleman could have paired his 5, hypothetically, or it's just such a difficult spot mathematically. I think he's leaning towards fold, honestly.
Fold.
Just all the processing
there you go.
that he had to go through to make the right play.
Through there.
One more.
One more.
He does make the fold. Let's see if we can get a look at his stack. Looks like
I don't know.
400K at least.
He's got 6 and
was
change.
obviously a good card.
Looks like 7, maybe 725 there. 750 for Funkhouser. So right about 2.5 big bets.
I think if he was a little bit shorter, he would have gone with it, but he thinks he can navigate his 2-bet stack.
I probably should have called you. I had a 7.
Funkhouser has been on quite a nice run here at the PGT Mixed Games series. He opened up the series with a 19th place finish in the first event. Then he had a 10th place finish in event number 3. He had a 4th place finish in event number 4. And now he is here at the final table, the final 4 of event number 5. So Funkhouser doing some work here at the PGT Mixed Games series.
We'll see if he can find anything here. Coleman has basically 100% steal from his ace up. Funkhouser knows that, decides to put in the raise with his 8 up. Gets the bad news that Coleman is not messing around.
Yeah, so Funkhouser raises. Coleman comes right back over the top. Funkhouser calls. So that looks like 225 back for Funkhouser. A 4 for Coleman, an ace for Funkhouser, and I'm guessing this money's going to go in here.
Yeah, there's there's no folding.
Yeah, 150 from each player, 75K is what Funkhouser has left. Coleman does pair his ace, a 10 for Funkhouser.
I think a 10's going to win this spot.
7 and a 6 in the hole for Funkhouser, a 7 and a deuce in the hole for Coleman.
Yes, made 10, drawing to an 8 against drawing to a good 7 from Coleman. It's very close equity-wise. Oh, that is a dagger.
There's a 5 for Coleman, a 6 pairs for Funkhouser. Not that it matters, but he got a third ace there.
7 low and 3 aces, a monster stud hand.
And with that, we lose David Funkhouser in 4th place. He takes home $70,000 for his finish. Consecutive 4th place finishes here at the PGT Mixed Game Series for David Funkhouser. We're left with Max Coleman, Mike Gordinsky, and Mori Eskandani. 3-handed. 94,500 is locked up here by these final 3 players. And I'm sure we'll see David Funkhouser hop into that 15K dealer's choice across the hall.
Complete.
Raise.
Raise.
I've seen that rush before. I'm not going for it.
Maury is now the shortest stack, but he's not in any danger. There's a ton of play left.
Yeah, it looks like about 6.5, maybe 6 point. No. Looks like 6.9 million for Coleman. 4.1 for Gordinsky. And then probably a little bit under 3, maybe just thereabouts for Mori Eskandani. So if he's got right around 3 million, he's short, but he's still got 10 big bets to work with, which is still pretty healthy in the limit games. Don't make the mistake of thinking 10 big bets, 10 big blinds, right? 10 big blinds in the big bet games, no Hold'em PLO. That's the danger zone that we've all come to know so well. But in the limit games, you can get much
10 big
shorter.
bets is like 40 big blinds.
Yeah.
He's got tons of chips to work with. They are very deep. It's going to take a couple hands, at least 3 to knock Maury out.
Well, looks like he paired up there, so he's mucking. Coleman on a nice little Razz rush.
Yeah, he's one.
Not many rushes like a Razz rush.
I've had that feeling once in my life, and it was absolutely incredible.
You've only had one Razz rush in your life?
Well, going from half a big bet before the money in day 2 of the 1500 Razz to winning the tournament, it was just straight up. It's quite a Razz rush.
Nine.
9-6-8. Coleman brings it in with the 9. Gordinsky's been a little quiet. He's in there. Completes. Of course, could just be stealing, trying to take advantage of the up cards.
Complete. Call.
Okay, we have a pot developing here, a 3 versus a 4. Gordo decided not to raise on 3rd Street to deny equity to the king. He doesn't think Maury's going to play too many of those.
Both players get a jack here, so things staying on par so far. Gordo's going to bet.
Not yet.
Coleman comes
I
along.
didn't pair the jack.
Spades
joking that he didn't pair the jack.
That's a lot of information.
A deuce for Coleman, a 7 for Gordinsky. So both players catching low. Coleman's lower. Queen for Max. Mike gets a 4. He's got 4s showing on board.
I could see betting here. I could also see checking because the equities are probably really close. Even if Coleman does have a made jack against the made jack of Gordo, nothing has changed on this street.
He does come with check, Coleman, and he calls after Gordinsky bets. 7th Street is down.
Feels like a very defensive-minded play from Coleman. He just wants to get to showdown.
10-8.
Check, check. 10-8 announced for Max Coleman. Looks like it's going to be good.
I at least saw a 9 in Gordo's hand, so he definitely could have made a 9, but maybe he paired up again.
Deuce-7, triple four.
So there's probably 150 line.
75.
Gladly.
It's a nice pickup there for Coleman as he is able to extend his lead and push Gordo back down the leaderboard a little bit. Looks like Gordo now is working with 3.4 million, 3.425.
Here shortly. He's gonna take down Max.
Omaha Hi is coming up.
Good.
You destroyed us.
The Destroyers game.
Can't let you get there.
Raise.
It's always very interesting to watch these short-handed collisions.
What are we playing for anyway?
Where if you're full ring, it incentivizes you to play so tight. But as the number of players dips down, you have to open your range accordingly.
I'm gonna act like I'm doing some math in my head. There's nothing going on. It's like the monkey clapping the cymbals. Literal nothing happening up there.
Coleman keeping the pressure on with his chip stack in position.
Yeah, understandably so. Just keep driving things here.
1 card.
2 announced from Mori, 1 from Coleman.
Check. These are really interesting spots. We saw last year during the PGT series, John Hennigan make a very similar play to what Max is doing here.
I was hoping
if he decides to snow this hand, a hand like 8-8-6-4-4.
I saw it the other day.
Yeah, I think I've seen it this I think I did it actually.
Mori leading this, signaling that he is pat to Max Coleman. Can Coleman find a raise? We saw Mori break his 9-7 earlier in the face of aggression.
All right, buddy, just take it.
Oh,
Mori shows all the deuces.
He went for the snow.
You got all of them.
And losing that pot looks like Mori's got about 1.5 million. So last time we got a good look, he had 3 million. So half of his stack is now gone.
They always have it.
Yeah, his plan was to pat snow that hand, bet the end, and hope that Coleman folds. But Coleman finds the card he was looking for. Maybe he made something like an 8-7, 8-6 without a deuce.
Oh, man. Jeez.
3 cards.
Let's see if Coleman can continue his rampage here. I mean, he could put Gordo in quite a tough spot ICM-wise if he wins a big pot here. Make it into a folding race between Gordo and Eskandani.
Legit. Deuce-to-Seven, triple drawing.
It was a real hand. Just show Max no more.
Scott in the YouTube chat said, "I'm still here, boys, enjoying
Honest,
the
clean
stream."
poker.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Scott. We appreciate it. It's not always
Until the
easy
Omaha
doing the
comes
streams
around,
with no hole cards, but here we are.
We're trying.
Grinding through. My name is Donnie Peters. I got Kevin Gerhart alongside of me.
I don't know the order.
I don't either. I think it's the next deal.
For those of you who are out there, whether that's PokerGO, YouTube, Twitter, or elsewhere, if you got chat, let us know where you're watching from. If you're on YouTube, throw us a like, throw us a thumbs up on the video. I see we just passed 352 likes, which I don't think we've really asked for many, so I'm going to bug you, see if we can get us up over 400. Hoosier Landcraft said, "I haven't left." Hey now. Hey now. Let's go.
Rampage.
Jason Zambricki, I see you. I know I saw Jimmy Bluffett in there earlier. I don't know if he's still there. Jimmy, if you're there, shout out, as always. Doing God's work as a mod. Zambricki, you as well. Check here.
Yeah, it was raised out of the small blind from Coleman, call from Gordo. Coleman drew 3 and Gordo drew 2. The standard play is to check and call or raise from Coleman, but Gordo sniffed it out with his 2 draw again and decided to check back. Coleman does continue his mini rampage in the Deuce-to-Seven triple draw streets.
I mean, he's won the last 15 minutes, I would say, at least 80% of hands, if not more. I mean, he won
Who was the
pretty
guy
much
that
every
was
hand in
having
Razz.
the long dinner? We were playing. What was his name? The guy that ordered the crab.
Oh yeah, Jim. Or James.
Jim Calp.
Yeah.
Got a long dinner? What do you mean?
Yeah. I mean, he took like 4 hours to finish his dinner.
Maury was worried because it was seafood.
I was worried to be seafood.
Oh, yeah.
So what is going
Like
on?
another 2 hours, it was going to be a problem. Yeah. Only a little limp.
All right.
Try to get one by.
3-3. 3 for Gordo, 3 for
You
Mori.
missed the raise, Mac.
Now I'm going to torch it with a bat. Oh boy.
Gordinsky bets. Mori gives it up. Mori's got some work to do here. Those chips are not going in the right direction. Looks like he's got about 1.25, 1.3 million left in his stack, so getting shorter.
I think we are getting closer to Omaha High, one of Maury's favorite / best games. Could always spin up there, and maybe the tournament just ends in those 6 hands.
Yep. As a reminder, we are not showing hole cards due to the presence of Mori Eskandani at this final table. He is the president of PokerGO. He does have heightened security clearance, so just to keep things safe, on the up and up, everything above board. When Mori makes a final table, we turn the hole cards off. If he busts out, we'll turn the hole cards back on, but right now we're keeping it old school. If you can believe it, you know, you can even go on PokerGO. You can watch some old WSOP broadcasts, and there's no hole cards. Back in the day, that's just how it was done.
And people thought they had it so good just because they could watch some poker.
I know, right?
And now everyone in chat is just so spoiled.
I've watched several of those, and the best ones are honestly when Phil Hellmuth is on as kind of a guest commentator, and honestly, he like knows what people have at all times. I mean, and you know, he's a professional poker player, and you know, he was certainly in the mix with a lot of those players during all of those years, so it helps, yes. But still, it's always good to hear him kind of like, oh, he's probably got ace-jack here, whatever, and then the guy turns over ace-jack.
It's like the old school Negreanu videos where he's just like, yeah, you have the king 10 here.
Yeah.
Then he calls, gets shown the king 10. Mori losing a big one here.
Yeah, he had a 7-6-4
deuce
and peeled the ace. Not good. Aces
The card
are
graphics guy
high
ready.
in this
Get
game.
the card graphics guy ready. Tell them to get in their stations.
So Mori's working on, looks like 575 over there. Maybe 600, but still not very good. And Max Coleman is just steamrolling right now.
Here we go. Limit Omaha High. Can Mori come back in his own game? He's going to have to play some hands. He only has 2 big bets. Can't fold for the entirety of this game.
Raise.
Right off the bat, coming in with a raise on the button. Here we go. Can Mori spin?
Check. Good.
Yeah.
If
How
Gordo
can I
has
have this
any
card? No,
any
call.
equity, he should continue here,
Main
but
reason?
there's just nothing to go
Because I
with
have
it. No
these
10, no
supports.
jack.
Wow.
Wow, Mori just flops the joint. Kings full. Maybe we check back. We have the stone nuts. What do we think our opponent can have? Coleman, almost 10 million in chips. 3 million for Gordo. 1 million for Mori. Another confrontation between these two, small blind versus big blind. Much more reasonable flop with the equities between these two. Even though we don't know their cards, the equities could be much closer than the king, king, queen flop. Adding another flush draw, another straight draw. Does Mori want to continue? In this game, you're just always getting so much on your money to call. Your equity, it just runs so pure when you have to only call 300K on the turn to win, say 1.2 million. Front door flush coming in, and Mori has less than 1 bet behind.
Well, Gordo hasn't called yet.
Yeah, we can pretty safely rule out that he doesn't have a flush.
Well, I think he just said I can beat a bluff.
Yeah.
Can beat some bluffs. Okay.
Call.
Queen jack with diamonds maybe.
I didn't see the.
Jack 8 of hearts. Flopped a flush draw with a gut shot.
Yeah.
Turned a double gut shot and hit the flush on the river.
Yeah, go.
Nice pickup there for Mori Eskandani as he tries to fight his way up off the short stack. 3 players left here. 70 players began in this tournament. $700,000 prize pool. They are guaranteed 94.5, and they're playing for $210,000 up top.
No,
Okay.
And none of these three are really interested in PGT points, right?
More or less.
They're not really close to the
Yeah,
top five.
We have to do
Yeah,
something.
at least not right now.
Look at that.
Right. I mean,
He doesn't care.
We'll chop it later.
I think this would be their biggest boost, right now as things stand. Gordinsky, Coleman, and Eskandani. I mean, for Mori, he's just not going to play. He's going to play maybe 2 PGT tournaments a year.
Right.
This one and then maybe something at the WSOP, and that's it. But for Max Coleman, right? He'll get in the PLO streets. He'll certainly get in some bigger buy and no limit stuff at times. So
Yeah.
for him, it could certainly be a jumping off point for what we see, for the rest of the season for Coleman. He obviously is very well versed in the mixed games and plays tons of them, but don't sleep on him when it comes to PLO stuff, and certainly no limit hold'em stuff as well, depending on how he's running and how big he's got that bankroll.
He could still make a run in the dealer's choice and then the 25K championship. So maybe he's the one to look out for the rest of the series with his chip stack getting into a confrontation here against Mori.
Check.
That's good news for Max.
King's up.
Oh, Mori was trapping. As prophesized, Mori is making a really good comeback in his favorite, maybe best game.
Yeah, and I think now he's overtaken Gordinsky. Gordinsky's looks like he has 2.1 million there.
Trick from 1986.
And I think Mori's on about 2.4, 2.5.
7-stud Hall of Fame at the Horseshoe. Was it the Horseshoe? 1 chip left. Came back and won it.
Really?
Yeah, that was amazing. I mean, 1 bet left, not 1 chip. 1 bet.
Just goes to show you mixed games is really all about saving that extra bet or going for thin enough value to make that extra bet.
Huh? It was weird because those days, I mean, whatever. Everybody, I had 1,800. Another guy had like 2,200, and we were on the bubble. And I said, let's chop the bubble so we can play our hand. Instead of like he's looking at me anting, it's 7-card stud. And he started looking up like he can't hear me. Very next hand, I doubled up through Johnny Moss. And the guy said, what were you saying, Dad? I said, don't, never mind. It's all good. Yeah. Then I went down to 1 chip. 1 bet, I mean.
Raise.
Coleman mark, draw for a hand. You'll play 1 hand.
1 hand, so we finish the game. We have to change 11. So this is the last game for Omaha.
What is it? 2, 4, 3, 6, 4, 8? Is that what it is? The rest of it? I hope.
Mori's ready to win this tournament already. Let's get this show on the road.
And we can always skip it if we want, right?
I mean, yeah, but it's fine with me. I mean, I don't know. It's just
Raise.
Can we get a 3-way pot going? Max knows that almost any 4 cards that don't contain trips is definitely getting the right price to call. There's already 900K in the middle.
King, Queen, 7 here, all clubs. All 3 players are involved. Action checks over to Gordinsky. Comes with a bet.
This isn't a very good action driving flop because one person could have a dominating equity position. Someone else could have a set, maybe drawing to a full house, but it's not going to really warrant many raises. For the small bet, 150,000 into a pot of 1.2 million. Max does decide to come along.
Check. Check.
Yeah, all 3 players still in the mix here. A lowly deuce of diamonds here on the turn. Action does check once again to Gordinsky. Once again comes with a bet. Eskandani's in there. Coleman's out of there, so heads up now. This is a very big pot. The two shortest stacks are going at it. 9 of clubs here on the river. Mori checks.
Yeah, unlike in PLO, on that turn specifically, Mori was getting 6-1 to continue with whatever he has.
Gordinsky checks back, and that's going to be a set of kings.
Yeah,
Mori Eskandani.
I thought I'd read
King, king, queen, 5.
When you bet on, when you raised, I thought I raised you back.
Oh, really?
So look at this. I'm going to lose the pot to him.
Mori just won 5 out of the 6 hands. And
More chip in it.
has
Blasting through limit Omaha High there. We are now
Quadruple his
moving
stack.
to stud. And Mori is surging right now. Octopi Poker is the ultimate poker lab for everyone and makes poker study easy for everyone of all skill levels. Doesn't matter if you're a novice player or an expert player. Head on over to octopipoker.ai. Join for free or subscribe for exclusive features such as the Octopi Poker Vault. And in the vault is where you can drill real PGT final table spots. That's octopipoker.ai. All right, back here at the final table. 3 players remaining in event number 5. $10,000 buy-in. Mori's Mix. We are playing 7-card stud. This is a 6-game rotation. All one-winner games. We have stud Badugi, limit hold'em Razz, Deuce-to-Seven triple draw, and limit Omaha. So we are on the first hand of 7-card stud here. Mori with the bring-in, complete from Coleman, and he gets it through. Players are guaranteed $94,500. Up top is $210,000. My name is Donnie Peters, and I have 4-time WSOP Gold Bracelet winner Kevin Gerhart alongside of me. When's the next? When's number 5?
I hope soon.
Let's go, man. Come on.
Let's get out of this rut. Although I've run good for long enough that if I never win another tournament, it would be justified just because variance has been in my favor so often. I will definitely try. I'll play at least 30 events this summer.
There you go. Are you somebody who only plays at the WSOP, or do you branch out to the other venues around town? Because there's obviously a lot of stuff that goes on.
Yeah, it's WSOP for tournaments, and then if I have a day off or an evening off, it's probably over to Resorts World to play cash games. I try to stay away from the online events as much as possible. Two years ago at the series, I got 22 nights at either Horseshoe or Paris for $300.
Wow.
During the
That's
series.
a steal.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing, and I couldn't pull off the same feat last year. So hopefully this year, with my increased status from what I had last year, I can make something happen.
So Mori brought in here with a deuce. Coleman completed with a 3. Gordinsky raised with a queen. That knocked out Mori, but Coleman comes along and he gets a 9. Gordinsky gets a king, and he's going to bet. We are playing 7-card stud high.
Yeah, and Gordinsky's stack, it looks like he can pretty easily get all in with the next streets being 400,000 each.
Coleman comes along and then picks up a 6, a 5 for Gordinsky. It's a second heart on the board for Gordinsky as well, and he's going to come out betting here. Limits are 200K, 400K, so be mindful of where Gordinsky's at because he could be all in on this hand. Never mind. Coleman says no thank you. Gonna put his hand in the muck, and Gordinsky takes that one.
Much needed upswing after losing a couple big pots in the previous Limit Omaha round. Still anyone's game here. Remember, we are playing all one-winner games. There are no split pots.
Max Coleman, the current chip leader. And then it's close between Mori Eskandani and Mike Gordinsky. Coleman with the bring in, Gordinsky out of the way. Mori completes and gets it done.
Take this hand rest of the way. Doesn't matter what game is.
I agree.
A6-4, all hearts. Doesn't matter if it's Razz, stud high, stud high low.
It's a good hand.
Huh?
That's going to work for all of them.
Yeah. Limit hold'em and stud. That's all we played the old days. Played limit hold'em for 10 years, then 15 years of stud. That's all it was.
Where'd you grow up playing?
I started out in Vancouver, Washington
Mm-hmm.
for like a couple of years, but the rest of it is all over Vegas
Okay.
from '84.
So a while, yeah.
From Golden Nugget to Stardust to Caesars. Caesars where everything turned to stud. And Mirage was huge stud. It was just all stud.
Complete. Do that.
He's unraveling.
Let's get him.
He's unraveling.
So the last hand is stud. Six of clubs. Complete.
Mori with the bring in, folds over to Gordinsky, who's going to raise the king and gets it through.
Yeah, not,
Whether or not he had anything, he's stealing all the time there.
not too much action. Gordo did pick up a bunch of chips that round. Once again, Badugi, I don't really expect to see too big of a confrontation.
I know we all made
in
it all
this
the way here,
round.
but it is like most split games makes it just let's go, right?
Yeah, for sure. Every game you're like, all right, blood.
Yeah.
Blood is coming.
Every time I play a mixed game, I've never in my life picked the games. Because I'm always late to get in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Even a couple of times, say, you want to take some of that? Doesn't matter. I just, whatever the game is. But if I had to pick games, I wouldn't pick, I mean, split just takes too long.
Yeah, it does slow the game down a lot.
Especially when I play like 3 hours, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Do that.
I really enjoy Badugi as a tournament format. But when you watch players who actually know how to play the game and how tight you should be, it kind of ruins it for people who play a little too loose, right?
Do that.
Coleman picking up another one here. I do agree it would be much more interesting if we saw the cards and could determine what the ranges are. But trust me, Badugi, you want to be quite tight.
You're just writing out your rush. You don't mind, right? That's our strategy. You're writing out the rush. And then we'll start attacking.
Yeah, it'll end eventually. It can't go on forever.
Yeah, Max has won 3 out of 3. Pre-flop, no one has put any other chips into the pot, just giving it to him. Coleman taking down another one with no opposition. You don't really see any chips exchanging hands in Badugi. We need to get back to Razz and limit Omaha Hi, where the equities run much closer and you're incentivized to play more hands. This game, shorthanded, is not really the game of action. I assume earlier on in the tournament there were probably 3 or 4-way Badugi pots pretty regularly, but it's just not worth it to get involved. Let's see some blood. Come on, Max. Get in there, buddy.
Can't sit on the sidelines forever. He's in there. All right.
I thought you were Pat.
One hand that we get to take to the drawing streets.
To re-raise you or not?
The speech worked. Check.
You're so good. You're so good.
That's exactly the sort of thing a guy bluffing would say.
You've only invested 400K. Do you want to invest another 800K? Pretty short to see if he actually is bluffing.
And please
Gordon
don't show me
decides
bluff.
to just
It's
lay
gonna
it
ruin
down.
me.
Hold him.
Switching up the games here, but before we do that, let's take a look at the overall PGT leaderboard. Joey Wiseman still up on top, 907 points. He was the winner of the recent PokerGO Cup. Most notable here on this leaderboard, 5th place Nick Schulman. Thanks to his success here at the PGT Mixed Game Series, has climbed up into 5th place. Full leaderboard is available over on PGT.com. You can go to PGT.com/leaderboard, or you can just head on over to the website, PGT.com, and then click the little leaderboard menu item up on top. Top 40 players at the end of the regular season here on the PokerGO Tour will qualify for the PGT $1 Million Championship. And if you've been with us for the past several days, you'll know that we've mentioned it several times before, but you, yes, you out there, can also win your way to that PGT $1 Million Championship. Head on over to PGT.com/dream-seat, and you can see all the different ways that you can win what we call the PGT Dream Seat and compete in the $1 Million Championship. That's a $1 million free roll. And it'll have about 50 players, you know, give or take a couple. So this isn't a $1 million free roll with 1,000 players. This is a $1 million free roll with a very small, exclusive group. Here we go between Gordinsky and Mori Eskandani.
Shaping up to be a big pot already.
We are playing limit hold'em here. 9-8-6 with a couple of hearts. Check from Gordinsky, bet from Mori. Gordinsky comes along, makes the call. 4 of spades here on the turn.
Check. Bet.
Looks like Gordo only has about 1.2 million left. At this stage in the pot, there's 2 million chips in the middle. Very sizable pot. Does he want to invest 400K and then another 400K, decides to give it up. Mori's claim was that limit hold'em was his best game.
Yeah, he said limit hold'em and stud.
Notice he didn't show his cards there. Most of the time when he has the goods, he has been very apt to show his cards at the end of the hand.
Oh, so he's bluffing there. I got
Maybe,
it, I got it, I got it.
The old man's got some tricks. Using his image, using his position, using the chip stack. Gordinsky doesn't want to bust just yet. Speaking of the dealer's choice and the leaderboard, Nick Schulman and Patrick Leonard are both in the 15K.
Yep.
That's going to be the best final table, in my opinion. I think everyone needs to tune in for that one.
Nice.
Yeah, we will be streaming the final table of the 15K Dealer's Choice tomorrow here on all the PokerGO channels. And then on Wednesday will be the final table of the $25,000 buy-in 10-game championship event here from PGT Mixed Games. 993, check from Mori, bet from Max, fold. Yeah, so we got this final table that's going to wrap up here today. We got 2 more days of final table coverage from the PGT Mixed Game Series. I mentioned tomorrow will be that 15K Dealer's Choice, and then on Wednesday it's the 25K 10-game championship. Then after that, 3 more days of mixed games. The first ever $100,000 buy-in Super High Roller Bowl mixed games starts on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Coverage each day of that tournament. We have 16 players confirmed for that event. The first of its kind. The biggest buy-in mixed games tournament in history is coming your way, and it's coming to you right here from the PokerGO studio. So be sure to tune in to that. If mixed games are your jam, PokerGO is the place to be. See Gordinsky getting involved here once again. Looks like he's got a little over 700K behind. King, Queen, 7 here. Gordinsky checks. Mori comes with a bet.
2 bets.
There's the check raise from Gordinsky.
3 bets.
3 bets from Eskandani.
Call.
Gordo makes the call. Gordo does not have many chips behind.
It should go all in on this turn card, and then we'll turn them on their backs.
9 of diamonds. Gordinsky puts in his last 150. Mori Eskandani quickly makes the call. Looks like Jack something for Gordinsky. Jack 9.
Yeah.
That was King 9 for Mori Eskandani, and he
They're gonna
busts
move here.
Mike Gordinsky in 3rd place. Gordinsky taking home $94,500.
Move here.
And we're going to be heads up between Max Coleman on your left, Mori
here.
Eskandani on your right.
Yeah.
Mori trying to win the tournament that's named after him.
Ace, Queen of Heart, that hand, by the way.
Ace, Queen of Hearts,
The hand before that.
Oh, so you had a flush draw.
I should have just showed it to you. Yeah, I had a flush draw.
Quick commercial break, and then we will be right back in about 1 minute.
Okay.
Want to play online poker for free? With PlayPokerGo, you get the thrill of authentic poker anytime, anywhere. From quick casual games to action-packed tournaments, PlayPokerGo lets you compete against real players around the globe, all for free. No bots, no gimmicks, just pure poker fun. Hone your skills and enjoy the poker experience you love. Explore PlayPokerGo on web, iOS, and Android. Deal yourself in now.
All right, everyone, welcome back in here to the Event 5 final table from the 2025 PGT Mixed Games Series. Max Coleman begins heads-up play against Mori Eskandani with the chip lead. Right about 2-1 in favor of Coleman, 9.5 million for him, 4.5 million for Eskandani. They are playing heads-up here for $75,000, you know, right about there. $210,000 up top, 136.5 for second place. The tournament is named Mori's Mix, and it's named after that man right there, Mori Eskandani. As we go to a flop here in Limit Hold'em, King 9-3 with a couple of hearts. Mori bets. Coleman calls. King of Spades on the turn.
Yeah, Mori let out after just calling out of the big blind, facing a raise from Max. Max takes it down with a turn bet.
Yeah, and so with Mori reaching heads-up play, unfortunately, we are never going to get hole cards in this tournament now. But going to be all the way here until the end. As a reminder, for security reasons, when PokerGo President Mori Eskandani reaches a final table that is streamed, we will not show hole cards.
Pretty good record.
We work with the Nevada Gaming Commission. We want to ensure the highest level of integrity and fairness in all of the broadcasts. And because of Mori's security clearance, we're not even going to leave anything for question. So no hole cards as long as he is still in. We, of course, we appreciate everyone's understanding.
050.
Razzle dazzle, switching it up.
Yeah, pots could get very big in this game. It plays as probably the third biggest game. Second biggest game in the mix. So we'll see if there's any blood here.
I'm always down for the blood in poker tournaments. I mean, let's just get in there. Let's get dirty. Let's get after it.
Agreed. And just to start off, Coleman defends with his queen.
Betting a call, and we're off to 5th Street here. Coleman pairs a 6. Mori pairs a 5. Mori comes out betting.
Shouldn't fold yet from Max. Mori still has any 2 random cards with his 5. Catches a really good card in a 3.
Both players catch good here. Mori continues to bet.
Really bad street.
Oh, paired is 3.
Yep. Coleman gives it up.
And you got got another 3.
That probably evens things up. We're pretty close to even stacks at this point. Mori's not even sweating his cards. He's just peeling them up to himself. I like it. Oh, we did see some cards there.
8 deuce showing for Coleman. He's going to bet and quick fold from Mori Eskandani.
Are you going to play? You're going to play this, right?
Yeah. You're just one and done? Just play your...
One and done. I mean, one and done for sure. I didn't even want to play this one, but...
That's the best way to do it. You don't want
Yeah.
to play a tournament. You
Yeah.
hop
Yeah.
in just
Tournament hit
because,
and
and then
run
you
out.
just win it.
That's right.
8 of hearts.
Wouldn't be the first time that Mori has won an event here
I'm
at the
saying
studio
tournament
on
hit
the
and run on this,
PGT.
right?
At the 2024 PGT Mixed Games, he won the $10,000 buy-in horse tournament. Took that one down for $201,000. Coincidentally, Daniel Negreanu also made that final table.
Yep.
Finishing in 4th place back then. Pretty crazy final table. Mori Eskandani won that tournament. Jeremy Osmus 2nd. Benny Glazer 3rd. Daniel Negreanu
was gonna
4th.
say,
Jerry Wong
yeah,
5th.
and his own-
Maxim
home
Pisarenko
place,
6th. And
PokerGO
Talal Shakurchi
plays
7th.
too, and look at this.
Yeah, just all crushers
What's
at
that
that
in his
final
ear?
table.
Oh, yeah. Tournaments are a lot of fun when you don't play that much. You know, you play, they're a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Yeah, especially when you final 2 every one you play.
Yep.
From the quick glance that we saw, I think Mori has quite a monstrous hand.
2 hearts.
Oh, maybe he had a pair.
Next game.
Wonderful game of
Deuce.
Deuce. Oh my God. Wonderful game of Deuce. What's that?
100, 200 blind.
Should see some action here.
Just full transparency. I am showing my whole cards.
You are?
Yeah, to that camera.
Oh.
So you can see it later. It's only fair.
We have seen the
You know,
last two
everyone's whole
hands.
card's always been shown except
If
mine.
only briefly.
So, just so you know, I'm doing that. This one's going to be kind of hard. Let me see if
Yeah.
I can.
Just hold them up. Just, you know.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
don't
too high.
Now they're too high.
Oh, no. 3 and a 7 and a 4.
A little
Nice.
bit of it left.
He's having fun with it. You'll love to see it. Did he say it was 84 earlier? Maybe I misheard, but man, if I could be doing what he's doing at his age, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, I was happy to see you bust that guy because I thought if he drags on, he is going to get sick. Eating seafood for 6 hours, sitting there, it's not good. The only time I got really sick in my life was a bad shrimp and a cruise ship.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
seafood.
fainted. It
Oh,
went
wow.
down. That it was food poisoning. Only time I've had food poisoning.
2 bets. Call.
So really good starting hand for heads up.
3.
Decides to draw 1 to the 9-6. Doesn't really want to make a straight,
Of course.
especially against a 3 draw.
Take it.
Had the same thing happen to me.
Huh?
I just had the same thing happen to me too. I got sick on cruise.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, wow. I went down unconscious for like half a minute.
Jeez.
Then again started like shaking and shaking and shaking and sweating. That was not fun. Food poisoning is not fun.
Have you been on another cruise after that?
Yeah, but you know.
Race.
2 bets. All right, guys, 3-minute mark. We'll draw for a hand to
So not much blood
No,
in
not-
Deuce-to-Seven, you know.
It all comes down to the cards
And
you
it
get
goes to
dealt
3-6? What does it go to?
before the first draw.
25. Okay. 25-5. Okay.
Definitely a little more action than Badugi. Limit Hold'em surprisingly has shown quite a bit of action throughout this final table.
How many do you think the 100K is going to get?
3 tables.
3 tables?
Yeah. I mean, I think 3 tables is pretty good, by the way.
Yeah.
3 tables is amazing.
Two bets.
Does that mean Max has an interest?
I would say he's somebody I would, you know, put at, let's say, 30 to 40%.
Okay. Well, he's already won his satellite, right? This is a
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good satellite to the 100K.
But I mean, he probably has been down. We haven't heard too much of him, so.
True. Probably played all the other events.
But that said, you know, obviously there's still the 15K dealer's choice. There's still the 25K.
If you want to go to 3-6, I mean, it's up to you. If they
game
allow it.
championship.
You want to go play there? Up to you. Okay.
Keep it. It's fine. Yeah.
What is your favorite game and the dealer's choice?
Probably this, but pot limit. Pot limit.
Oh, pot limit online.
Yeah. This one's new to me.
Are we going? This was a Bedoui hand or what?
Wow.
Oh my God.
Dealt number 1 Badugi.
Pot number 1.
In 2023, the year we actually had 2 PGT Mixed Game Series, one in the first half of the year, one in the second half of the year. In the first half of the year, Max Coleman got 4th in the 25K 10-game championship. And then in October, he won it.
Okay, so I mean he's definitely a contender for playing the 100K.
Yeah, I mean, he's played and cashed at the 50K PPC at the WSOP at least twice. 2023, he got 13th. 2024, he got 14th. So, you know, I wouldn't say it's out of the question. I'd probably even raise my percentages.
Yeah, and he's been known to play the big mixed game cash at Resorts World, the 400, 800. Sometimes they even make it up to 600, 1200. So swinging 100K in that game
You
is
said home is New Jersey for you, right?
very easy if you go
Here?
on a down swing.
Kansas originally, but I've lived here like 3 years.
I play some of the cash games. I've seen them some,
Yeah.
but not all.
The resorts game.
Yeah. That's right.
The dark side.
The dark side.
You didn't mean it, boys. That's not the dark side. The far side for me.
Race.
Two bets.
Maybe we'll get a look. Nope.
Jack 7-5 with a couple of clubs here.
Good board for action between 2 ranges of random cards. Yep. We'll see a bet and a call going to the turn.
6 of spades here comes in.
Note there's already 1.5 million in there. Mori's betting 500,000. Getting 4-1. Max decides to call. And you only need 20% equity.
Check.
7 of spades here on the river.
That's definitely a card that changes some things. Some full houses get in there. Mori representing the straight on the turn when he bets. Does let it go. Every pot seems really big. I mean, Mori just lost 1.25 million chips that hand.
Whoa!
I see a 10.
I had no suit in my hand. I had a no suit 4-card hands in Omaha.
We call that a Badugi.
50, 75 grand. 50, 75, 255.
How often there's a game these days? Every day? Every day?
Every day but Sunday usually, yeah.
No Sundays. You guys start like 3 o'clock again, something like that?
Sometimes noon, but usually like 3.
Until midnight?
Huh?
Midnight, goes to midnight, 1
Yeah,
o'clock?
usually around midnight.
3 hours.
So I have to correct myself. Max Coleman is on the list of 16 confirmed for the 100K. He's in there. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a very good tournament for sure. If you would like to take a dive into some fun and free, emphasis on free, online poker, deal yourself in at playpokergo.com. Available on web, iOS, and Android. So hop on over to playpokergo.com and battle in the streets. There are ring games, there are tournaments, there are sit and goes available. I'm often in there playing. Would invite you guys to come on join as well.
I think I've gone through that list maybe half a dozen times, and I still can't remember all the names on it. So having it handy,
yeah, I should
help.
I should like screenshot this or something because I continue to lose this thing. But the list of 16 players that Commissioner Tim Duckworth has said that are confirmed to participate. Sorry, I shouldn't say confirmed. Strong likelihood to participate. You got Brian Rast, Johnny Becker, Matt Ashton, Philip Sternheimer, Yuri Zevalevsky, John Racner, Scott Seaver, Dan Zach, Talal Shakurchi, Benny Glauser, Max Coleman, you see him right there on your screen, Albert Daher, Jason Mercier, Chad Evesledge, Daniel Negreanu, and Ray Dekargani, a.k.a. Ray D. There's a satellite on Wednesday, $12,700 buy-in if you are on time. So I would guess you're going to get at least 1 seat from there. I think it's 1 in 8 get a seat, and then maybe 2 if we're lucky. Chino Ream not mentioned on the list of 16 that I just rattled off for that 100K Super High Roller Bowl Mixed Games, but given the success that he has had so far here at the PGT Mixed Games Series, he's already up to 353 points at the top of the series leaderboard. So he's won more than $300,000 so far. I would anticipate he's going to get in there, if not make a pretty big case to sell some action or do whatever he's got to do to get in there. We didn't say Nick Schulman. He's another one that I could certainly see getting in there. I could certainly see Ryan Miller. He already won an event, so he's cashed at this series for $254K already. One of the best mixed game players around. Made most of what he's done in poker has been through the cash game streets, but now he has gotten more into tournaments. So I think that if he's someone who's like, hey, I want to sell some action, I think people would certainly buy in that regard. And yeah, and then who knows what happens here on out at the PGT Mixed Game Series, and then also that satellite. So Eric Wasserson, another person I think could hop in. He's been around in and out of the studio here for the PGT Mixed Game Series, so could certainly see Ewas hopping on in there.
Race.
Okay, we got some action here. We are playing Bedoui, and we saw the last orbit of Bedoui only went to a draw once. Both players taking 1. Remember, if no one makes a 4-card Bedoui hand, the best lowest 3-card Bedoui will win the pot. Mori just gives it up after taking 1.
Yepanuna asking if there's a limit to how many players. No limit. I mean, 300 people could show up for the 100K Super High Rollable Mixed Games, and
Get them in there.
we'd get them in there. We'd find them a seat. You know, we'd sit them in the hallway if we had to. Put tables outside. I don't know. We'd figure it out. I mean, but of course, you know, that sort of top tier buy-in is only going to attract, you know, a very exclusive group of players. That's why the numbers, you know, somewhere between 16 and I'll say 28.
That seems reasonable. 28 may be on the high side, but
Yeah, but I mean,
we
that's
can
like
be hopeful.
That's absolute best. You know,
Yeah.
I'll say. I mean, obviously, if it goes over, I mean, great. But
Yeah, if somehow managed to get a fourth table in there, that would be absolutely incredible.
The games at the Resort World is pretty good too. You know, I mean, it's the choice of games they have.
Yeah, I
it's
like
pretty good.
Yeah.
Although, you know, Crazy Mike just makes it fun. I can't help it. He just makes it fun.
I haven't played, but I've heard
He can crack me up.
a lot of
funny.
different games.
His dictator routine is
Yeah.
so funny.
Race.
Two bets.
it does look like Coleman is now starting to really stretch out his lead.
Yeah, he's really applying the pressure. This is exactly what he needs to do in a heads-up situation with the chip stack that he has. You just limit your opponent's range. Keep trying to beat him down because it doesn't really cost you that much, where it's way more detrimental to your opponent to lose chips.
Another player brought up here by Nikita, Jared Blesnik. You know, he could certainly play the 100K. It just depends on two things. One, what's going on with sports cards. Two, whether or not he's at Triton and if he's coming back.
Right.
Like, so those two things. But, you know, I could certainly see Blesnik. I mean, that's right up his alley. And then speaking of Jared Blesnik, we are less than an hour away of tonight's new episode of High Stakes Poker airing on PokerGo. Jared Blesnik is in the mix alongside Scott Seaver. Seaver is making his first ever appearance on High Stakes Poker. And Phil Hellmuth joins the mix for I think it's the first time this season, his 6th season on the show overall. I always like to tune into the cash games because when it's Hellmuth is involved, because I'm just dying to see a Hellmuth blow up. I mean, it's just, I mean, they never get old.
Nope.
The
know they're
entrances at the WSOP, those get old. I'm over them.
Trust
but
me.
the blow-ups, I could watch those over and over and over again. So 5 p.m. tonight on PokerGo.
We do have a pot developing here, 1-1 at the end. I would give Coleman the edge slightly with his 3 card in this scenario. So if neither person improves, I think he's going to win it with the way the hand played out. Can he find a call, pick off a bluff potentially?
9.
Huh? King?
9.
Nice.
Yeah, Coleman probably had a better 3 card than any three of those cards combined. So Mori needed to improve on the end. Much needed pickup for him.
Hold 'em.
So back to 4 million chips. This is a good game for action with these two players. I think we're about 10.5 million to 4 million. Maybe 10 million to 4 million at this point. Could go quick. It's only 8 bets.
First hand, hold 'em.
Race.
Two bets. Oh. Check. Two bets.
I was just thinking, Maury, this is a board you could raise so credibly and so often.
Call.
Big pot developing here. 2 million chips in the middle.
Check.
Mori taking the passive line now. Trying to get the showdown, maybe with a pair of sixes. Maybe he has a king with a diamond draw.
Bet. Call.
Ooh, he did have the ace. Trying to get a little tricky on that turn card.
Ace-10 there for Mori Eskandani. Takes that one and tries to start fighting back and close that gap with Max Coleman.
We've seen Mori just crush his opponents in Limit Hold'em and Limit Omaha. You know, maybe play to your strengths as Coleman in all of the other games. I mean, I'm not saying Mori's a slouch in any of those games, but it just seems like he's running over the table in these two games specifically.
Is this the fourth hand or the third hand of the Hold'em? I thought it was the fourth hand, but I'm not. I may be mistaken.
It starts, button starts on there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true, since we're playing an even number. Yes.
2 bets. No.
Another confrontation.
Check. Call. Check.
3 of spades here on the turn. Mori checks again. Looks like we're getting a bet from Coleman.
Mori doesn't look too happy, but he does call. 2.5 million in this pot.
Queen of diamonds on the river.
Yeah, that's might be an action killer.
Bet.
Bet and a snap fold. Big pickup for Max.
Yeah, every time Mori looks like he's gonna start, you know, maybe putting some pots together, pulling them his way, getting some momentum, Max Coleman just comes in there with the hammer and says, "No, no, no, sir. No, no, no." Looks like about 3.5-ish for Mori over there.
Yeah, we know there's about 14 million in play.
Yeah.
The last hand of Hold'em. Two bets. Call.
$8-6-4 rainbow here. Quick check, check, 3 on the turn.
Bet. 2 bets.
Tricky check back on the flop. And a raise on the turn from Mori.
Call.
Coleman does come along. This pot is getting pretty big here.
Yeah, there's 3 million in the pot.
Deuce of diamonds on the river.
Check.
Check from Coleman.
Jack.
I'm with 3.
Mori checks back. Looks like a queen 3.
Ace 4.
Ace 4 for Mori. And he's going to scoop this one. His pair of 4s is the winner. So trading some blows here between Mori Eskandani and Max Coleman. Heads up in event number 5 at the PGT Mixed Games Series. As this shot, that plaque, we're switching things over. Now playing Razz. These players are guaranteed $136,500, $210,000 up top for the winner. That $210,000 comes with 210 PGT leaderboard points, which goes a long way, of course, in the race for the series title. Five up for Coleman and gets an ace. Mori's out of there. Grabs a jack on fourth, and that's no good for him.
Yep, just back and forth. Haven't really seen Mori get too short since his big spin up in the limit Omaha round. Two very nice Razz up cards. Again, I'd like to see something get to showdown. Oh, Mori has nothing to fight with.
Looks like we're back to just about where we started here. That looks like a little over 9 million for Max Coleman. Put Mori on right around 5 million, give or take. So started the match with Coleman on 9.5, Mori on 4.5. So
once again, two very low cards.
Mori just
gives it up.
It's always interesting to see, and we've seen it over the course of this entire series. Certain players kind of take their foot off the gas during certain games. They press on the gas a little bit harder during other games. I would say Mori, it's been limit hold'em. It's been limit Omaha High and stud high to some degree.
Yeah.
And then kind of backed off elsewhere, right?
Yeah. He has not played very many Badugi hands. We didn't see as much blood as I would have expected in the Deuce-to-Seven streets.
Yeah,
He's kind of playing straightforward, not going after too many bluff spots.
The other day we saw it with Josh Aryeh, you know, when it got to no limit hold'em, when it got to PLO during that 8-game tournament, you know, he was really the driving force there. So it's always interesting to see how players can feel, you know, maybe a little bit more comfortable in some of the games, so get a little bit more active. 10-7 for Max. Looks like I think it was King 7 for Mori. Bet and a call. King for Max, a 3 for Mori, and Mori takes the lead, and he comes out with the bet.
Yeah, this hand.
Max is out of there.
You know, we're expecting hands with 5-6 or 4 deuce to be played more often, but the hand that actually developed the pot was a king and a 10.
Upcoming PGT events, March 6th through 8th, we've talked about it already. Super High Roller Bowl Mixed Games, 3 days of streaming starting on Thursday. Coming up at the end of the month, we have the PGT PLO series. Then in April, the US Poker Open here at the PokerGO studio. And then we're also going to be down in Texas at Champions Club for the Texas Poker Open. And then, of course, during the summer, in partnership with the World Series of Poker, a huge schedule of 100 events, of which 30 are PGT qualifying. So if you want to take your shot on the PokerGO Tour, you got plenty of action coming your way. All information is available over on pgt.com. You guys can find the schedule. You can find news, articles, recaps, the leaderboard, all that good stuff. pgt.com.
Back to Deuce-to-Seven triple draw. Max raises the button in position, drawing 3. Mori calls out of the big blind, drawing 2. Mori's leading here. More often than not signifies that he improved at least 1 card. We did see earlier that Mori went for a bluff with 3 deuces in his hand, so we know he is capable of making such plays. And the bet here is also automatic, being the big bet street. He is drawing 1. Max is still drawing 2. Max has a decision in position. Doesn't look like he improved his hand. Mori inching closer to parity.
Every little bit counts, and with a big bet of 500K, it doesn't take much to start really pulling things even here. Max Coleman, a poker pro out of Kansas originally, but now living here in Las Vegas. Of course, Mori Eskandani also lives here in Las Vegas.
Mori on the button here. I wonder if we're going to get a little sneak peek of his cards. Nope.
No, I think we're done with that.
Just gives it up. He had fun for a little bit. We saw, I don't know, 4 or 5 hands.
Mori's 69 years old, by the way.
Okay, so when he said 84 earlier, he must have been referring to 1984. Way before my time. Yeah, Max is still putting on the aggression in the games that he thinks that Mori doesn't want to play. I think he's right. I think this is the correct line. Even if you're drawing 3 and you're not even drawing smooth, I think you should be putting on as much pressure as possible. Goes 2-2 in position here. Yeah, Mori plays this game very well. He's leading and drawing 1.
Coleman on 2.
Another automatic bet. See if Coleman improves his hand.
It's looking like if Mori wins this pot, he might be chip leader.
Yeah, this is going to be a big decider.
That one. Check.
Max caught something. Maybe he's debating a value bet with an 8, or maybe he's considering a bluff with a pair.
9-7.
9-7 perfect.
9-7-5 for Coleman. 9-7 perfect. 9-7-4-3 deuce over there from Mori Eskandani. And he is going to win that pot. And I believe take the chip lead here for the first time in heads-up play. Mori Eskandani, the new man in charge. Heads up here in event number 5 of the PGT Mixed Games series.
Limit Omaha High, and Mori has the chip stack now. It's a battle.
If you would like to take your game to the next level, head on over to shop.pokergo.com, where you can get your hands on official PokerGo and PGT merch. We got hoodies, we got hats, we got t-shirts, we got it all. High stakes poker, no gamble, no future. PGT, PokerGo. If it's been on PokerGo, it's on the shop, shop.pokergo.com. For all our PGT fans out there, use the promo code PGT10 for 10% off over at shop.pokergo.com. All right, Coleman going to raise here, and Mori going to take it.
So we have increased the level. It is now 300K, 600K limits.
Cool.
Do you think we'll make it to $1 million?
I mean, we could. These guys are pretty close in chips, which would tell me that we could be here for a little while. I mean, it'll definitely be harder, given that we don't have any split pot games in this mix, you know, so there's a chance. I'd say small chance. Coleman gonna bet here.
Mori probably called with a straight of some sort.
The hard way.
So I wonder if there was some
Any of your cards were good.
some muscle memory there with the players leaving the bets in front of them. Because this is a high only game.
I don't hate it. I mean, it does save time in the long run if you just leave the bets in front. Obviously, there should not be any bets left in front because there's no split pot games, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'm just saying that I don't think that they've done that so far. So I wonder if they just, you know, because in Omaha High, or High-Low, I should say, you always leave the bets in front of you.
Right.
Which is also always a thing, at least most notably at the WSOP, when it's some dealers pull them in, some dealers leave them out, and then the players are arguing, no, leave the bets there, don't touch this, don't touch that, blah, blah, blah. No, now it's 3 ways, so pull all the bets in, blah, blah, blah.
All the players are
and then some dealers, you know, obviously they have stacking the pot and whatever, and then some players are like, don't stack the pot, some players are like, stack the pot so you can get ahead on things. It's a whole thing.
Yep.
It's a whole thing in mixed games.
Can't
it's a world of its own. Don't stack the pot because then you tell people that there's a low possible. You don't want them to know. What if they misread the board? Blah, 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 blah. Wah, wah.
I hear it every day. Every day. Most of us aren't.
You know what?
that
How about the dealer does just whatever is most efficient for them in the game. So if they want to pull the bets in, if they want to stack this, if they want to do this and that, whatever allows us to get the most hands and get the game moving, let's just do that and not worry about anything else.
That's what they should do. If you play like the small stakes no limit, the dealer is the captain of the table.
Yeah.
As you get to higher stakes, the players think that it's their job to take over the ship and not let the dealer do their job. Nice. 2 big cards. Playing stud high now.
Nice.
Let's see if Mori has enough to continue with.
Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, all good, all good. You got it.
The dealer does want the bets to stay in front. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a massive table too, so having to like reach out, pull everything in, as opposed to the players can just kind of push everything over from one side to the other. So yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, this is great.
Nice looking queen, king, jack over there for Max Coleman. I think that was a king 9-7 for or king 7-9, I should say, for Mori Eskandani.
You have to make him get up and get it.
Yeah, with the size of this table, the dealer has to stand up to reach across the table to drag in all the
This
bets.
hurts
Stand up
more, right?
again.
You lose a big
to
pot,
push
you
the
have to push it
pots.
yourself. in the dealer. It hurts a lot more. Damn, here, just take it.
As a reminder for everyone, we are not showing hole cards because Mori Eskandani, president of PokerGO, is here at the final table, and he's made it to heads-up play. The plan was if Mori goes out, we'll turn the hole cards on. If not, we're going to leave them off. It is an effort to maintain the highest standards of integrity.
Good call. Bet. Call.
4-10 queen for Max, Jack 6-4 for Mori. Check, check
Coleman.
there.
Coleman checks after taking the betting lead.
Coleman's going to bet here.
Call.
Mori's in there. 7th Street down.
I don't think Mori's used a time extension chip in his entire life. They don't mean anything to him.
Call.
Betting a call. Queens up. Queens and jacks for Max Coleman there on your left. Mori's going to muck his hand. That's a pretty big pot there in favor of Max Coleman.
Wow, these chips are pretty slippery.
Yeah. Mori losing almost 2 million chips in that pot.
And if he
You got all
didn't
the
have it
key
already,
cards
that
that I
should
needed.
swing the chip lead
King, nine, jack
back
of
to
clubs.
Max
Queen
Coleman.
of clubs, 6 of clubs. Somehow I made 2 pairs.
Looks like about 4.5 there for maybe 5. Between 4.5 and 5 million for Mori Eskandani, so that gives Max
Around 10.
9.5, something
Yeah.
like that. So pretty much back to where we started the heads-up match once again. But of course, betting limits are pretty big right now, so expect plenty of swings one way or the other. Playing 300K, 600K on the limits.
Raise. Call.
Mori brings in, Max completes, Mori raises, Max calls. 8-7 of spades showing for Max. 3 of spades, 4 of hearts showing for Mori Eskandani. Max, first act, he checks, Mori checks back. 5 of diamonds. And the 10 of clubs. Mori checks. Max fires a bet and Mori folds. Still playing 7-card stud here. Mori's going to be the bring-in with the 7 up. Coleman completes. Mori calls. Coleman has a 9 up. Coleman catches a 10.
Check.
Mori catches a queen. Mori checks. Coleman continues with a bet.
Call.
Mori calls. Ace for Coleman. Ace for Eskandani.
Check. Bet.
This has been the most action game we've seen heads up.
Putting the chips closer to him, so.
Mori check calling again here. 6 for Max Coleman. Deuce for
Check.
Mori Eskandani. Mori's got the ace queen showing as the best high hand, so he's doing the checking first. Coleman bets. Mori calls. This pot is enormous. This is the biggest pot we've
massive.
seen.
Yeah. This is going to be.
I mean, he's been betting
a
on every
deciding
single
pot.
street. Mori first to act here. 7th Street is down.
Check.
Mori checks. Coleman takes a look. And there's a bet.
Wow.
Fold from Mori Eskandani, and without showing down, Max Coleman rakes in an enormous pot here and really stretches out that chip lead.
Yeah, back-to-back hands. Mori loses about 2 million chips in each pot. This has been a bloody stud round.
You can see it there. Big sigh from Mori. Looks like 11.2, 11.3 for Max Coleman, which means that with around 14 million in play, I think Mori's below 3 million.
Yep.
And that's, I mean, now that he won that pot there, I mean, he's probably got 5 bets left, 5 big bets. So, you know, it's not the worst thing in the universe, but a very steep mountain to climb against that man right there, Max Coleman. Coleman is looking to achieve his 3rd PGT title. Mori's looking to get his 2nd.
Two.
Coleman going to take 2 here. So that was like 1? 1 for Mori. We are playing Bedoui now.
Check.
Coleman checks.
Yep, you're just playing in flow. You check to the 1-card draw, especially out of position. It's shaping up to be a nice size pot, 1.8 million in there already.
Check.
Max is mostly looking to improve to a good 3-card. Once again, it is hard to make a Badugi. Well, we can see that Max probably has some sort of ace-deuce, ace-3, ace-4 combination and is trying to make a better 3-card and hope Mori does not improve to a 4-card Badugi. Max should not be betting here very often. Can Mori fade or improve? Looks like Max did not improve to a 3-card. Much needed pickup from Mori. We could see he was only left with 2 bets behind.
Getting a little tired there, Max? Huh?
Oh, he's got another whole tournament to play. Gonna be here
I know,
late.
that's what I'm getting at. I mean, you know, just
somebody get this man a Red Bull.
Right over my hand.
Nice.
Two.
check here. Off to the next draw. 2 again for Mori. 2 again for Max.
Okay, we're going to the last draw. Probably 1-1.
That's exactly what it is. 1-1.
Now Mori could be betting so many different hands in this spot for value and as bluffs. And Max knows this. Max finds the raise. Makes a 7 Badugi. That is a monstrous hand in full ring and heads up. That is definitely the nuts. Wow, what a pot.
Last hand for Badugi.
Mori loses 2.4 million chips on that in that pot, leaving him very short.
Yeah, it looks like Mori is on about 1.9 or 2 million right now, so extremely short, the shortest we have seen him get in heads-up play.
Does Mori want to play this last hand of Badugi?
Raise.
He does.
Call.
2.
2.
Coleman's taking 2, Mori's taking 1.
Check. Check.
Check, check here.
1.
Coleman takes 1. Mori takes 1. Coleman started with the 2 draw, so he did improve there a little bit.
Yeah, I would expect Coleman to bet here a lot. Being from the 2 draw, you improve to better 3 cards than Mori would start with most of the time.
He does do just that. Quick fold out of Mori Eskandani. And Coleman just continues to really put the hammer down on his opponent as we switch up the games here. Sliding over to Limit Texas Hold'em.
I'm confident Mori will be all in during this round. The next 4 hands we'll see an all in. Max is just going to apply pressure.
Raise. 3 bet.
Mori says this is the one.
Ace-Jack-8 here with a couple of clubs.
I think Mori pre-bet. I don't even know if he looked at the flop.
I mean, when it's limit and you want to get your money in, why not, right? Coleman does fold and Mori takes that one. Looks like he's back up over 2 million now. 2.3, 2.4.
Raise. Call.
Raising a call here, and we're going off to a flop once again. Ace, Jack 4. This time all clubs. Check, check. Ace pairs the board on the turn. Check, check. Deuce of clubs on the river. Coleman's going to bet. Mori folded before we could even cut the camera over to him.
This card's just evaporated. Mori's still under 2 million chips.
All right, Max, if I can come back from this, they should name this game after me. Oh, wait a second.
They already did. Raise.
Raise. 3 bet.
Same old song and dance. Max raising the button.
Raise.
Mori raising. Max trying to get all the money in right now.
Raise.
Okay.
Here we go.
10 seconds.
Raise.
Another raise announced by Max. We're going to get the money in here.
Queens and ace king.
There's the start of it.
Queens.
sevens for Max Coleman. Pocket queens for Mori Eskandani.
Full thing, I pull it in like an Oldham Hold'em.
Yeah, we're pulling it in, man. Come on. We're going to keep this official. Right around that nice playpokergo.com logo. King 10-4, all spades. Both players have a spade, but Maury's queen of spades, the higher one. Ace of hearts on the turn.
Still rooting for the best hand to hold up?
I always root for the best hand to hold up.
Seven
of hearts on the river, and that is gonna do it.
Good job.
And with that, Max Coleman is the winner of event number 5, Mori's Mix. Mori Eskandani is gonna take $136,500 for his runner-up finish. Coleman wins $210,000.
Sorry to play spoiler on your
plus
back-to-back.
210 PGT leaderboard points.
That's poker.
Going to be looking to make a late charge here at the 2025 PGT Mixed Games Series. There you see the leaderboard right there, presented by PlayPokerGo. Max Coleman up on top, Mori Eskandani second, Mike Gordinsky, David Funkhouser, Steve Zolotow, Daniel Negreanu got 6th place, and Dmitry Urbanovich finished in 7th. Here's a look outside to the main studio room where the 15K Dealer's Choice is happening. We will have this final table Tuesday on PokerGo, on YouTube, Twitter, and elsewhere. And then on Wednesday, the 25K 10-game championship final table. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. My name is Donnie Peters. I had Kevin Gerhart alongside of me. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Until then, take it easy and good night.